Mortgage One Studio, Russ Cark with you. Let's see. Are you in the studio today? Larson isn't coming in just yet this morning, but we have Jason with us. Let's see, he's Jonathan Townsend Alexander's with me. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, Russ.
What brings you to town? What brings you to town, man?
Well, I decided.
Get close to that mic.
Well, I decided to expose the Border Patrol checkpoint again.
Expose it.
Yep.
Expose it.
Yep. I'm exposing that is totally unmanned.
Okay. And we're talking about the one that's on Highway 95, about 50 miles towards Quartzsite, out between Quartzsite and us. It's just between the two.
Yeah, that's correct.
Which I haven't traveled that one that much yet. We know that the checkpoint, and we're talking about checkpoint on Highway 82 in Yuma, has been closed. Gosh, it's been a year probably. That's the one they had that terrible accident where somebody sped up instead of slow down. The sign says slow down to 15, I think at the time it said 15. I think they sped up to 50. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. I doubt it. I don't know what happened. I don't think they ever came to a complete conclusion. I mean, I think the guys, did he say accelerator stuck or something? I can't remember, but some kind of Ford pickup.
That's what I
destroyed a couple people now, officers with the Border Patrol, and both of them survived. But I know at least the guy. There was a woman and a guy I know that were injured severely. I mean, these were major injuries.
Right.
I think the guy's back on duty. The lady was in rehab. I don't know if she's come back or not. I don't know. But apparently she was doing well, and she's rehabbing and learning to use her legs and arms again and stuff. And
thank God for that.
Oh man, it was like a terrible thing. Pinned them up against buildings or something. I don't know. It's a wonder they survived.
Yeah. Well, Russ, with that border checkpoint being closed, and then now the one.
You mean the one on on that one and the other one,
and now the one on Highway 95. I mean, the last 3 times I've gone through there, coming back from the border, it was totally closed. And I thought, well, I've been on vacation for 3 months.
Well, you're allowed to do that. So, you're kind of retired from normal work.
Well, kind of retired, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm getting back into it now. And
that's something you've been doing for years. I mean, during the Obama 2, Biden.
Well,
particularly you were really very visible on the border, pointing out the atrocities, man. It was terrible. It was wide open, and Mayorkas sitting in the Congress saying it's very secure. It's all secure. It's all secure.
Yeah.
I was just like, how can people not see this? But you were out there daily almost. Just.
Hey, did you see that video me and Daniel Gutierrez made with Mayorkas saying that?
Oh, you were with him?
Oh, yeah. And we had it when we were driving up and down the Tucson sector wall. And as he kept saying, the borders are secure. We're showing the freshly cut gaps in the wall where it was wide open for the legal support through.
Yeah. And when there was no one there watching? It was just
nobody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was just a little over a year ago. We brought
a year ago. So you've got to be somewhat happy that Trump has had like basically zero illegal immigration in the last year.
Yeah,
it dropped to nothing by enforcing the current laws.
Right.
And Tom Homan is helpful with all that, making sure that it's down to zero. And I don't know how they get zero. There's still people that they get caught and they send them back or whatever. I guess they could set it at a net zero.
Yeah. Well, you know what? So Tom Homan, if he by some chance ever listens to your broadcast.
Oh, I talk to him every day. No,
you know what?
I never.
He needs to get on the ball with the checkpoint on Highway.
That's a big deal to you.
That's a real big deal.
Well,
Russ, with the amount of fentanyl that's been coming through our borders over the last 4 years before Trump came in,
right? With
the amount of human trafficking, I mean, just
now
everything in general.
I question on. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking, and I don't know where their security is or whatever. And they probably won't tell me. But I called him this morning when you said you're going to come in and discuss it. I said, well, I better call Border Patrol and find out what and why. And of course, they answer the phone 24/7, so everybody knows they'll answer the phone. Now, the guy I talked to, he said, look, I know there's a periodic closing, opening, closing, open on that. I don't know where they stand right now. And of course, I wouldn't have expected him to
Right.
just answering the phone at 4 o'clock in the morning. But public relations will come in at about 8. So I'll give them another call, not on air.
Well, you know what? I think we ought to call them on there. We ought to.
No.
I think we ought to ask them these questions.
I don't want to surprise anybody like that. I guess I could call them if they approve of being on air, but I don't want to. I'm not 60 Minutes. I'm not going to surprise them. I just want the answer,
Right.
and maybe they can call me back on air or something and let me know.
Well, like I said, Russ, the last 3 times, even right before I went on vacation, when I retired, I basically retired from doing this.
Okay.
And I said that was it. And,
but you think there's still a need?
With the amount of what's going on our borders right now, there's a lot more than what meets the eye.
Well, let me get to that, but I haven't done the disclaimer yet. Let me get that out of here. All content presented on the Russ Cark Show, including statements made by guests, commentators, and callers, reflect the personal opinions of those individuals and is provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. These views do not represent the official position of Mortgage One Studios, its owners, employees, affiliates, or partners. Mortgage One Studios does not endorse, verify, or guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statement made by third parties during programming. See, now I feel good that I'm not responsible for you.
Yeah. Well, Russ, here's one of my biggest points. This is why everything we do out in the field, we live feed it.
Well, yeah.
It's hard to dispute live feed. So what?
Right. You can't dispute what you're seeing and hearing. I mean, it's not necessarily going to give you the rationale that you need to talk to some leaders and stuff, and hopefully they're telling you the truth. But, like Mayorkas never told us the truth.
No.
But at least you tried. Yeah.
Well, I've got a good relation with the military down here on these borders right now.
And I want to explain that too when you say military. I was out there a month ago or so with Miss Arizona, Tiffany, and we stopped, and when I saw the Army, and I didn't know it was Army, I thought maybe it was National Guard, but it was a little Army encampment. It could have been just a couple people and some vehicles and stuff, but they didn't really want me. They asked me politely to not be there, bring attention to them and everything. Well, not that they were hiding; they were in a very, very. It was right by Morales Dam, right that area. I was shocked. I didn't even know what the vehicle was. Do you know what kind of vehicle? I need to get a picture of that vehicle.
Did you have your press pass?
No, they wouldn't have cared one way or the other. They don't care. I mean, he just respectfully asked, there's nothing he can say, nothing he can do, and he just assumed we don't stay there. I don't think they could make you leave, but I would not. I'm not an activist.
Well, I'll tell you what, my trip down to the borders on multiple occasions down here, the military guys have been very much communicating with us. And,
sure. Well, they answer well.
And they're actually answering questions.
Like not mission questions.
Well, some of it, yes.
I mean, obviously they're there to observe, but I don't really know what the mission was. I didn't ask him. It was obvious he didn't want to talk anyway, this guy.
Right.
And nothing good comes from that. Yeah. For those guys.
Well,
they're not public relations.
Well, it's like anything, Russ. Yeah. Why would you tell the enemy what we're up to?
I'm not the enemy.
No, I'm talking about what they're here to do.
Well, correct. And that's why about this check station that you say that's closed. I don't know what the Border Patrol's doing, thinking. We do know a lot of things, and that is the border is much more secure than it's been. Yeah. We do know that some drugs get through, or they wouldn't keep catching them.
Oh, that's correct.
But they're catching them at the regular ports of entry.
Right.
And how much other than that, there's been drone stuff that I've heard about, but I don't know any numbers on that, on how much is being caught or being seen, but they're patrolling for it.
Right. Well, if you go down right from the Britton farm right there, down at the end of the wall right there, the wall ends. You're talking on the side to California side. Yeah. Well, actually on the Arizona side.
Well, I mean, butts up against California.
Yeah. So right there, they were actually flying drones when we were down there.
The Border Patrol?
Yes. I mean, the military.
Military. Yeah. Okay. I don't doubt that. I mean, drones are becoming a huge warfare thing as much as anything in surveillance. But the Border Patrol was doing drones, 15 years ago, some of along the border regular. Those are the big drones.
Right.
Looking for stuff. And then Obama got rid of them. I think it was Obama, might have been Biden, but it was Obama. And it also took down the aerostat.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need the aerostat anymore. Well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like because the border's secure. That was just a joke.
Well, let's hope
it happened with our eyes wide open. Everybody's seeing it.
Yeah.
You know, and we know more now. I mean, but I think we always knew it. I mean, it was obvious. You could take pictures of it. And of course, with the border flooded in areas like Texas, where you saw backup of people standing for a mile to come in, that was such a bad optics for the administration that they started airlifting everybody in. Right. If you just filled out an app, they would go get you, and that way there wouldn't be bad press.
Well, and you know, it's kind of funny. Back when we were reporting on the border so much, even down in the Tucson sector, they would come right through those holes in the wall, line up like they're all going to Disneyland.
Well, but because they could, and everybody knew it. The Border Patrol was under orders to just process, not to deter.
Yeah. Border Patrol would give them actually a baggage check form where they fill out what they have for possessions.
Yeah, just like going to an airport or something.
They take them over to the processing center. Not even 8 hours later, they're sitting across the country in a city somewhere near everybody here in America.
Yeah, there was a bad deal. We used to have those tents out at the old dog at the Border Patrol office on Avenue A. They had, I think, 3 tents out there.
Yeah, big tents.
Size of Walmart.
Yeah.
Those things are gone, aren't they? They're all gone.
They're not in the Tucson sector. They're using them now for.
I'd have to double check.
Yeah, down in Tucson, what they're using them for, that's where they're taking them now, and housing them temporarily until they deport them.
Yeah. Let's see. Kathy from West Virginia said hello. Really? West Virginia?
West Virginia. Well, hello, Kathy.
What's going on with West Virginia?
Yeah.
You know, West Virginia and regular Virginia.
Right.
There used to be some mix up during the Civil War. Yeah.
Yep.
Families broke apart.
well, look at the way families are breaking apart now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we're going to put a state border difference, but that'd be good.
Nowadays it's all over politics.
It's hateful out there. There's a lot of
100%.
Just anger and cancel culture. And I can't talk to you because you don't believe like me. It's been alarming and unproductive. I think it's intentional by some to create tribalism and separation.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason to cause upheaval. It's a Marxist type program to cause, failure of capitalism and prove it. I mean, they're going to try to blow it up so they can say, well, now we're in charge or something. I'm not sure, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Hey, Russ, I got a good question for you. What, in your opinion, do you think it's going to take to get the people of America to unite back together?
I think it's going to take leadership. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of leadership that is promoting and pushing this separation. And they've been very successful at changing, particularly the younger population, and everybody's been asleep at the wheel, but there's lack of knowledge of civics, basic civic, it's history of the country and all that. And we started pushing what the, lies. What was that? The 1619 program? I don't know what that was. I forget what that was, where United States invented slavery or something. All this misinformation has gone out there and not pride in the country. And I know that, and it's just kind of shocking. To mend that's going to take some time, though, but it's going to take leadership, and the leadership isn't ready for that. The leadership doesn't want to. If you look, and I'm not, and I'm going to be political, but if you look at the Democrat side, there's some polls that were done just recently by CNN, and they're not a very conservative group.
Right.
They talked about with the 4th of July coming up, and a very, very noteworthy 4th of July, 250 years, how many people will be displaying the flag? And they compared it to a poll done, the same poll back in 2000. And in 2000, it's like 68 Republicans were going to display the flag or something, and something like 65% of Democrats, pretty close.
Right.
Well, it's within the margin of error, about everybody's patriotic and stuff. And I remember 1776, patriotism was everywhere. There was nobody that wasn't patriotic, to my knowledge. I mean, I'm sure there was some groups, but they certainly weren't highlighted, promoted, or getting any visibility. But that's different now. And the Democrats today, the ones that want to show the flag on 4th of July, is like 27% down from 65. And the Republicans today are at 65% versus 68, basically about the same. So something's happened drastically where, Michelle Obama, I still remember very well when Barack was first elected on that first day, the inaugural day. She was so happy. And she said, for the first time in my life, I'm proud of my country. And it sent a chill down my back. What do you mean first time in your life? How can this be the first time? And she was just proud because her husband, benefited, not because of a direction of country, because Barack Obama made a promise that he will fundamentally change America, and he did. Not for the good, but he started. Racism became worse, tribalism, everyone against each other, and then bringing in, promoting programs that were very unpopular with the masses, as far as girls and boys room and stuff like that, kind of got going to where we're going to put in everything that's ridiculous that you hate and start pronouns and separate people and give a place for anger to grow and for concern to grow. And then the fight's on. And it's been terrible, but it's leadership. It's political leadership in our country that has done that. And then if you don't agree with me, we'll cancel you. Not just cancel you, I won't talk to you at Easter. It's cancel your business, boycott you, not allow you to get a license through the IRS. You remember the whole IRS? There was no Tea Party that could get an IRS tax exemption form done. They held him. Lois Lerner did that for years. They finally got some congressional involvement in that. It's like, why is the IRS being biased? Nothing that was conservative could get through, all canceled. And she just completed the 5th, took her retirement, and sat on the beach. Nobody paid a price. So nobody paying a price means, the game's on. We can do whatever we want. Nobody's going to harm us. We can lie, cheat, steal, as long as we have a government title. My Arcus can go up and lie, cheat, steal with a government title and testify in Congress that the border's secure. And there's no problems. There's nothing. But if you're running a business and you ask, and Congress asks you a question and you lie to them, there's huge implications. You can't lie to the police. You can't lie to the IRS. You can't lie to any of them without big problems. And all of a sudden, but we're leadership in the country. We can do as we want, lie, and there's no ramifications, no repercussions. And it's created more distance between. It's created more polarities, more tribalism, and I can't help but think it's very intentional.
Hey, have you ever interviewed Jim Chilton?
No.
The Chilton Ranch?
No.
Yeah, so he's the ranch owner out of Tucson area.
Okay.
And so right during the whole time of my Orcas kept going, oh, the borders are secure.
Yeah.
I had all my hidden cameras all over the Chilton Ranch. And that actually made it over to Jim Jordan that we met with over in Sierra Vista, Arizona.
All right.
I gave him the disc from it because I had over 1,000 hours of footage and nothing but the cartel coming right through Mr. Chilton's ranch.
It's well known. Nobody lies about it.
Yeah.
They just ignore it and say, oh yeah, I see that film. Border's secure.
Yeah. But I'd love for you to be able to get Jim and Sue both on your show.
I'm always available.
Those guys are a riot, I'll tell you. They're in their 80s, 5th generation ranchers.
Yeah, I like old people.
Yep. And the cartel was trying to force them off their land. And good old Sue Chilton, bless her heart, she goes, well, you see this shotgun over here? She goes, don't get me off my ranch when they pry it out of my cold dead fingers.
Well, I tell you, the cartels are not to play with either. I mean, the things they do in Mexico, if they want your farm or whatever, if people die, people disappear.
Well, look what's going on over in Montana right now.
What?
Cartels are trying to take over different ranches in Montana.
I don't have any knowledge of that. There's been movies written up, plots like that.
Well, those plots are actually based on what's on reality. Yeah. And I've been talking with the gal right now that keeps reaching out to Holman and different people because she's got the cartel trying to take over her ranch.
And what methodology do they use for that?
Well, they're threatening her family, threatening her life.
Trying to buy it, or
No, they're forcibly trying to take it.
you mean just get him to leave at gunpoint?
Yeah.
Of course, that's not going to give him title.
Yeah.
Not going to give him a deed.
Yeah.
But I know there's been cases of, we want to threaten you until you're scared enough to sell or something, but I don't know.
But kind of like what I told her, I said, "Show me the facts. I want to see
Sure.
the facts. I don't want to see this and hear this hearsay.
Yeah.
I want to see the facts behind it."
Yeah.
And according to her, she's got a bunch of footage that she's going to get over to me. So,
well, that should be over to the district attorneys, man. Basically, that's over to Tom Homan.
Well, that's what I told her.
That's the kind of guys Tom Homan, I mean, if they're in the country illegally,
right,
would want to get rid of, And I just saw him. He just did a talk just a few days ago, and I don't remember where he was, but he started off by saying, my something about his wife asked him not to be angry. He says, but that's just me. I'm gonna get. I mean, and he's angry at the situation and angry that this is happening to his country. That's why he came back to do the job after retirement again. He retired, I think, twice. And Trump says, we're not done with you. We need you back. And of course, he's doing it at great risk personally. We talk. Some people say, oh, I get death threats or something like that. Like a celebrity or something, which. Probably true. I mean, there's enough crazy people send him a little note. When Tom Homan gets that threat from cartels,
right?
That's something to really pay attention to.
Yeah.
That's to him, his family, and everything, and they, are patriots, and they do this for the country,
right,
and change their life. And Bongino did that. Bongino went and worked with the FBI, knowing that it would disrupt his life, and he said, "I'll do it for short period," and he did.
Right.
He did his what was it, 8 months, 9 months? I don't know. It wasn't a year, I don't think.
No, I think you're about right. Probably
But
about 9 months.
he had to start hiding to make sure that those death threats never,
right,
and nobody jokes about it. I mean, Trump has been hit in the ear, but I think it's three, and there's 3 plus. I mean, I count the 3 that where he was at the scene, but there's others where someone broke into Mar-a-Lago, but he just happened to not be home, and there was others they caught before it. They had everything in place, like with the UFC fights down on the White House lawn, where they caught that group of people.
Yeah, the one that they're trying to sue him over it for having it.
But look, right now in this attitude of everything Trump does is wrong, so we're going to challenge every single step with a lawsuit. Doesn't matter what it is. We could even agree with it. And I think the left is willing, and I'm not saying everybody, but many on the left are willing to hurt the country a little bit to get rid of Trump, whatever it takes. Because in the long run, in their mind, it's better if I'm running it. Better if I'm in there. So it's worth hurting the country. And it's like what the communists did, and the socialists and the Marxists and the Nazis. They kill a few people, for the better good. It never is. It never is. And how do we not learn from that history? How do we not learn?
Well, that's the problem with America. People don't seem to want to learn anything. I mean,
Most do, but not everybody.
Yep.
And that minority group of hate, and that minority group, and they're growing right now. Mandami had some wonderful hits going on, just wonderful. He's celebrating. At the same time, he's terribly hurting New York.
Right.
New York's getting hurt. People are leaving. Billionaires are leaving. People are pulling out. And now we'll be pulling out a stream of tax collection. So the thing they do then is, rather than change their tune to attract them, is to tax them more. Yeah, let's just tax them more, and because some of them stayed, so we're going to punish those dudes until they leave. And I guess the answer is for them, take over the whole country, and then there's no place to leave to unless you go to, and that would probably happen too. Let's take a call from Gilbert. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. Who's that gentleman you got there?
Hey, Gilbert. How you doing, buddy?
Hey. Hello, Mr. Alexander.
Haven't talked to you in quite a while.
Yes, sir. So you're talking about Mandami.
Yeah.
Well, what city is it up there in New Jersey? They said we're not going to celebrate the 4th of July, but we're going to put up a Somali flag, and they did.
Yep.
Unaware, but don't surprise me, Gilbert. They did. There's a lot of that been going on.
And then you got an HOA that says you can't put up the American flag in your residence.
I heard about that.
Time to get a new Karen running my HOA.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
this is what's going on in America. And what I don't understand, I really don't understand,
uh-huh.
is that whole neighborhood is saying, okay, we can do that, except for a few.
Yeah.
So
right.
Bandami and his minions are all over America. And
Probably yes. We're probably more than we'd be comfortable knowing.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is why we should definitely push for American citizens, conservatives, even your non-conservative but want to save America should vote. We should push voting.
True.
Look at all the illegal aliens that are voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them.
Daniel Gutierrez is saying hi to you, Gilbert.
Hey, Daniel, ¿qué pasó?
Hey, good morning, Daniel Gutierrez.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is we got people like this HOA saying we can't raise an American flag in America.
Yeah.
Then we got these people up there saying, no 4th of July, but we're going to raise the Somali flag.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, because
yeah,
there's many on the left that have said that the American flag, brings hate or stuff like that because it stood for slavery or something, and of course that's just a redefinition again from the left.
And again, the American flag, that same flag that stands for slavery, freed the slaves.
Right.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, that's why they don't ever mention the president that freed the slaves. Because he was a Republican. In fact,
exactly.
in fact, that was a Republican platform.
Who pushed slavery? It wasn't the Republicans. It was the Democrats.
That's right.
Yeah, they try to hide from that now, though.
They try to hide for it and reparations. Now they got some other idiots talking about she's placing $2 million per slave, yada yada yada. Okay.
Yeah, and my fact checker just sent me an article. It says Buffalo raises Somali flag, cancels 4th of July. Buffalo City, really? Wow.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? And I can't believe they're allowed to do that. I thought there was some sort of law, federal law that protected our American flag.
Well,
but then again,
nope.
They'll sidestep and say my First Amendment rights.
Well, Gilbert, that just kind of shows how divided this country has really become.
Well, and it's good that we see it. I mean, it's better that we know what's going on, Gilbert. That it's not hidden
but
anymore.
I don't want to sound racist at all.
Yeah.
It's going to sound racist, but there's a lot of white folk doing this. It ain't all the black folk and all the brown folk.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm going to point out of something, Jonathan, just so you know that anybody says I don't want to sound racist, they generally do.
Exactly,
right,
that's what I'd be called.
But you're right. In a lot of these like BLM marches and stuff, it was a lot of particularly white females seem to be.
Yeah,
seem to be prominent. Yeah, it's all kind of odd when it's a racist,
right?
Type riot, and there seems to be more white females in it. I'm like, what the heck, man? What's going on?
Well, speaking of racism, it's kind of funny because part of my team was made up of Hispanics, American Indian, and different things. Even Daniel Gutierrez going down on the borders with me, and I had people on my Facebook actually attacking me, saying, "Oh, you're nothing but a racist."
Well,
and it's like
that just means they have nothing else to say. That's just a fallback to stop the conversation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
just constant insults and digs.
Yeah, that's what they're good at. What I'm seeing a lot of this thing about my fellow Latinos. Mexico had all these people, and the white man destroyed Mexico and blah 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 blah, took this away, and people they just don't realize if it wasn't for the Spaniards, you wouldn't have Mexicans.
That's right.
Correct?
That's correct.
Spaniards mixed with Indians became Mexicans. So I always say, so these Spaniards took away all your land from the natives in the part of the country that before it was called Mexico. What was it called before Mexico? It was just land, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was an empire, maybe Aztec Empire. I don't know.
Guess I never looked at it that way, Gilbert.
But it was never Mexico until the Spaniards came here.
Yeah.
And the same. I say Indian. I don't say indigenous people. I say Indians. They travel the whole spectrum, the Southwest, all the way across America.
Yeah, they were the first original snowbirds.
Right.
They traveled. That's true. That's what the natives did. They traveled to warmer weathers when it got cold.
Right. Original snowbirds, man.
Yeah. So, I'm laughing at all these guys about Mexican history. No, you guys weren't Mexicans until the Spaniards came. The same people that took your land away from you is what you're whining about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So anyway, you guys were talking about Mandami and former President Obama that created the racism that we have today.
Uh-huh.
We had it pretty well subdued for years. We were becoming brotherhoods.
Yep.
And this one guy,
Yeah.
because he had nothing to sell. He was a salesman. The only thing that he had to sell was racism. And especially for a guy that's half white, right?
Well, Gilbert, if you can sell that to the American people to make this country become so divided,
that's what it's about.
Then I guess he did a job well done.
Yeah.
Hate to say it.
And they're still complaining. I mean, I remember seeing an interview with Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey together saying how afraid they were to go into Target because of the racist. I'm like, what are you talking about? Not only that, they have Secret Service.
Yeah. Well, Russ, did you know Oprah Winfrey and Trump used to be good friends?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And now all she does is bash the hell out of Trump.
Because it's about politics.
Yep.
It's never been about race. It's always politics.
It's a selling point. That's all she has. It's a selling point.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
very well said, Gilbert. Very well said.
And that's what's going on. They're selling their BS. They're selling it.
Yeah.
That we had a dark history. Even the music industry, like I was telling you a couple of weeks ago, Russ, if you had a last name that wasn't white, they say, you know what, you need to change your name. A lot of our Latino entertainers had to change their name. Vicky Carr is a good example.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know she's Latina?
That was a different time. Now it's an advantage. I think I'm changing my name to Rodriguez, actually.
But what I'm getting at, what I'm saying is, we had a very dark history.
Yeah.
But we were working out of it. Right. We had to bring history out to show what was happening out. And it was just a very few people, like you always say, Russ, a minority of people doing this. Yeah, but those minority of people had power.
Right.
And they were allowed to do that.
Well, Gilbert, I actually changed my name to Alexander, but that was only because I disowned my family. And next thing I know, everybody's like, oh my God, he's got to be an outlaw. He's got to be hiding from the world.
Really? Because you changed your name?
I did change my name.
Well, I want that reputation. I'm going to change my name, Gilbert.
Yep.
I'll let you know what it is.
I actually went from Metcalf over to Alexander.
I'll do anything but Irish.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to change my name to Samuel J.D. Mockingbird III.
But the reason why, in my defense, the reason why I did change my name, I actually got pulled over several different times from law enforcement where they thought that I was associated with my brothers and their drugs and everything they were doing.
Oh.
And I finally got to the point, I changed my name. I went down to the police department and the sheriff's department. I said, look, I have no affiliation with my family whatsoever.
Yeah.
Period. I said, and now my last name's Alexander. Can you please leave me the hell alone?
So that was your twin brother, allegedly, the drug problem. All
right. Well, supposedly we looked a lot alike.
But I can understand the problem.
But at the same time, I got so fed up with it. and I did.
Change your name.
Well, and Jonathan, y'all look alike to me anyway.
Now stop it, Gilbert.
We're going to be racist. Just go ahead, man. Back in the 70s,
I'll
we
go back
could
to my
joke like that. I don't think you can. Take care, Rel. Thanks.
You know what we can. There's a time that we can even shucking and jiving in the streets. We were allowed to do that to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But when somebody else stepped into it, for some reason, we thought that was bad.
I know
It was, but we changed that. We changed that. There are some that are living with that mentality, but those of us that are half butt smart enough, we can say, "Hey, we're just shucking and jiving, dude. That's all it is."
Well, listen here, my little racist friend. How about we meet up this afternoon and grab a burger or something together?
Just let me know where and what time.
I'll do that, Gilbert. I got your number.
All right. Take care.
All right. All
right, brother. Bye. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you remember Mel Brooks made that Blazing Saddles movie back in '76, I think, where, I mean, it was just flat. Everything was a racist comment.
Right.
In order to poke fun at it, in order to show the ridiculous, how ridiculous it is. And I've seen some interviews from Mel Brooks and everything, and he says, you can't even do that today. Yeah. You can't do it. Because now we don't worry about out racism. I mean, we even worry about micro expressions because everyone's being so more politically correct. But I saw a micro expression. You didn't smile when you said that. And I'm like, holy man. So it's
well, Russ, I met this amazing gal out from Minnesota.
Yeah.
But all my audience keeps saying, boy, Jonathan's doing nothing but smile anymore.
Uh-oh. Are you dating somebody that's a long distance from Minnesota?
Oh my God. Well, yeah, I was.
Wow.
But I guess her family thinks I'm nothing but an outlaw because I changed my last name.
I'm not disagreeing with them.
Now, don't you start beating up on me.
I'm not disagreeing with them at all. Let me see. I think it was Edward sent me. Wasn't Edward? Somebody did. Oh, a story on Minnesota that there has been a lot of cartel work in the Minnesota area.
Yeah, there has.
Oh, it was my other local fact checker that sent me that even particularly on the Indian tribes, tribal lands, that it's hard to get a police officer on there because they have to, it's sovereign territory, and federal police can go on.
Well, we have the same problem out there on the other side of Tucson, right there on the tribal lands as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's something me and Daniel Gutierrez was trying to work on. We have got to find a way to be able to work with the tribes, and we do.
Oh, I think there is. In fact, my understanding on the Cocopah reservation here, which did not allow the wall to be put up.
Right.
There was negotiations, from what I understand, talking to the tribe, and the tribe just takes longer.
Yeah.
It's a longer process. And Trump lost that election in 2020, and the talk stopped. Otherwise, who knows? It could have been.
Well, when we spoke with a lot of the tribal people over there, they were all for the wall.
Were they?
It's the tribal council that said no.
See, it matters who you elect.
Yeah.
Matters. Yeah. Well, look at our own country. We have 85% of the population that agrees that you should have an ID to vote. 85%.
Yep.
Yet the leadership in the Democrats is 100%. We don't care.
That's right.
We're not going to pass it.
Yeah.
How the heck do you guys think we get elected?
That's right. Yeah.
They don't say that. I put that in.
Well,
as a suggestion that maybe that's what's getting them elected. They're not about to give that up.
Yeah. Well, they pretty well got it figured out, I think.
Unfortunately, and I know there's been great strides to put some integrity into a lot of the elections that are suspect, but there's a lot of governors, like our governor, that has vetoed all of it. Veto what's going on. I mean, there's been some other things to clean up a little bit federally, but there's a lot of roadblocks. Everything that comes up is roadblocked by judges and stuff.
Hey, speaking of which, what do you think about the Supreme Court's recent ruling on the birthright citizen?
I think it was kind of expected. Yeah. I don't think anybody really felt like that was going to be the pathway to get that done, but it was definitely to start the conversation. And since then, uh, there's going to be a push to do it legislatively
Right.
for, and I don't understand the legal aspect on why that makes a big difference versus an executive order, but apparently it does. And they're going to do other things through the judicial departments as far as going after these companies that have birthing vacations, so you can
Right.
come have your baby in the United States, and there's countries that do that, and they
Yeah.
do that. There's companies that set it up to where you pay us, and we'll do all the transportation, the hotel rooms, and the medical, and your baby will have a American citizenship,
Right.
and that's that's a real business.
Yeah.
Apparently, and there's a lot of Chinese babies born over here that go back home.
That's a
But-
lot of the controversy I'm seeing about it right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, the Chinese Communism Party is going to try to take over America next by having their babies born here in America.
Well, if you leave the door open long
Yeah.
enough, something bad's going to happen. But they go back home, which is scary. I mean, those people
Yeah.
could be growing up and learning espionage, learning anything,
Yeah.
and have free access to the country or any job in the country or any,
Right.
they could fill out a resume that I'm an American citizen and get secret clearance for all I know. Depending on where that goes. That's scary thought.
Well, I guess we could start doing the same thing to those countries and just go over there and start hatching out our children over there.
But none of them offer citizenship.
No.
That's not a deal.
Well, they might offer us execution, but that's about
That's
it.
not a deal. Well, it's depending on the country, depending on what the country is. But
Yeah.
we're kind of unique in that it's self harm,
Yeah.
self harm, because we don't control it, and our enemies do.
100%.
Enemies, and we're going to be taken advantage of by, people in Mexico that just know that hey, we can scream across the border, get some great medical care for free.
Right.
We can't pay for it, but the taxpayers will, and then my babies can get whatever they need because the taxpayers will pay for that too.
Right.
Because they're not going to let a baby starve. So then we'll all move to America and all get on that welfare train.
Well, and I think the biggest problem that the American people have is with this as well, Russ, is we're not even taking care of our own people like we should be, And I'm
Right.
not saying there's not a lot of people here in America that's not for that free handout as well, but there is a lot of people, a lot of your seniors, a lot of your disabled veterans and different people that could truly use the help,
Well,
and they're being told no.
in some cases,
Yep.
well, they're not going to be able to go in. I mean, nobody that's a citizen can go in and get to a hospital, get free medical care without repercussions. I mean, if you don't have any money, they're not going to lock you up for that.
Right.
But it's not as easy as like, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. You could lose a house, you could lose a car, you could lose stuff, and
Yeah.
instead of because they'll come get your assets, whatever the case is,
Right.
if you play those games. So illegal's got a great advantage on that, but doesn't mean that fraud isn't created by us.
Yeah.
I mean, look in Minnesota and all. Granted, the majority has been Somalis, but not all of it.
Yeah.
I think there's still a small percentage that's American citizens, and it's gone rampant with the fraud. And a lot of the people are doing fraud legally through NGOs, government grants.
Yeah,
So,
but Russ, in my opinion, this fraud has been going on for probably a good 50 years.
it's costing us everything. We're borrowing money to pay for it,
Yeah, it's not just Minnesota.
and we're paying higher taxes.
Yeah, this
Correct.
has been going on all around the country.
But there's hot spots where it's more prevalent,
Yeah.
and more accepted.
The only difference is Minnesota was right in everybody's face the way it got exposed.
Well, I think it was Nick Shirley
Nick Shirley did a lot of it.
That-
Yes.
really saved us, and they hate him on the left now.
Well, Nick Shirley's got a lot of death
He has
threats
to
right
have,
now,
he
too.
has to have bodyguards.
And he's got bodyguards. Absolutely.
He's young and fearless,
Yep.
as we all were.
But my hat's off to him. That young man is not backing down from the
No.
fight.
No,
So good for Nick Shirley.
he's become well known all over the
Yeah.
world. In fact, he's and it amazes me, and he's just a journalist like you, an independent guy that's going to go out and see things going on, but he really hit something. And got a lot of attention. And it wasn't him that really did the research. He hooked up with a guy in Minnesota that had been a whistleblower for years,
Right.
and nobody was listening.
Yep.
And Nick Shirley's the one that knew how to use a cell phone and make it go viral. You know, which is so weird. If that old guy had taken lessons on social media, maybe he would have got somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you know, I met Nick Shirley at the Charlie Kirk event over in Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah. And just a very fine young man.
And they let you near him even though you changed your last name?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good one.
I would have thought that they would have
Better have Secret Service on me.
maybe get you away from him.
Yeah.
Question about Gutierrez, is he actively campaigning? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he is actively campaigning, and he's called in a little bit.
Well,
done that.
well, you know, again,
He's got road signs up all over Yuma. Yeah.
and I think he's getting a lot of the Democratic Party siding over to him right now as well.
He's always had some,
Yeah.
and he didn't have but the results of his last election
Right.
didn't show the inroads that I was hoping were going to be there.
But look
But
at
he doesn't quit.
Yeah, but look at the amount of people that went out in that special election to vote. He didn't even have 20% of the Republican Party get out and vote.
Like I said, he just didn't have the results that
Yeah.
he was hoping for. I was hoping for.
But Adelita Grava didn't have much more than that herself.
She's been terrible.
So what they're saying is if we would have even had 35-40% of the Republican Party went out and voted,
yeah,
Daniel would have been in office as we speak.
It just didn't happen.
Yep,
Didn't happen. And Gutierrez doesn't quit.
Yep. Oh, he's a fighter.
And he's going right after it and still talking to people and still doing it. So God bless him, man.
Yep.
Well, we need everybody like that.
And all his trips down to the border with me and my team,
Uh-huh.
you know, being boots on the ground, bringing his dad down. And his dad, by the way, was a diehard Democrat until he took that first border trip with me and my team and Dan.
We see.
And at the end of that border trip, Russ, his dad turned around and says, "That's it."
I see a lot of Democrat dads would disown a son that runs as a Republican. But he did not.
But, you know, I like the way Dan runs because he's for the people.
Yeah.
He's not for you're a Democrat, you're a Republican. He's about helping everybody.
He's working on the programs.
Yeah.
A lot of the racist too much anymore is just absolutely hateful of trashing an opponent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always gone on, but I think it's escalated.
Well, you know, I've gotten bashed myself for supporting Dan.
I think some of it was me.
Yeah. No, I've actually literally been attacked for like having Dan down on the border with me either. And people are like, "Well, what do you have a Hispanic down there on the border with you for?" People
do that.
And it's like, man, if you people got to ask that question, you know what? Get the heck off my page.
Yeah. Do you know who Stephen A. Smith is? He's an ESPN broadcaster. You're not familiar with him?
No.
Black guy. I like him. I mean, I think he's exciting, and he in fact, he's good enough.
Is he kind of a big guy with glasses?
No.
Okay.
You're thinking of the wrong guy.
Okay.
He's good enough that ESPN signed a contract with him 5 years for $100 million.
Wow.
I have never had deals like that put in front of me. So he's obviously got a skill set.
Yeah.
He's got something going on. And I've always enjoyed listening to him because he's kind of straightforward and you know, he's a good thinker at times. I did not realize he was a racist. And that just came out.
Oh, he is a racist.
But I've seen him do broadcasts before where he's coming to the side of Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark is a white basketball player in the WNBA, and she's getting just beat up. I mean, it's like a WWW fight or something, you know, a worldwide wrestling or something, where they just smack her, no fouls called. I mean, it's just been ridiculous. And she's still breaking all kinds of records, but you know, it's a different game with her in it because the other players resent her so much. It's just terrible, and the refs are in on it. But he comes. Stephen A. Smith has even come to that. You know, like, leave this girl alone. You know, because it's so outrageously obvious. So I thought, you know, he's just looking at the game and looking at the actions, and he's not paying attention to race. I was wrong. He just recently said the Los Angeles Lakers have too many white guys to succeed in the NBA. And I thought, wait a minute. Is that a joke, Steven? Is that no? He's serious.
He was actually being serious.
Yeah, he said he mocked the team. I guess the team, and I do not follow the NBA, but he mocked the team because they traded for Walker Kessler, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves, and apparently white players. He says, where the hell the Los Angeles Lakers think they are going with a bunch of white dudes? Your 3 top players are white dudes. Really? This is basketball. In NBA history, when has a team led by 3 white dudes ever gone to the promised land? Somebody's got to say it. Well, there is an answer for that. And this article points it out that, well, there was like Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Danny Ainge, all 3 white dudes that won championships, Yeah. Granted, the population percentage is heavy black, but
hey, speaking of Mayorkas, back to Mayorkas real quick. Would you like to share the video that me and Dan did on Mayorkas?
Send it to me. Send it to me.
Here, I can pull it up real quick and send it to you.
You can do that.
It was pretty.
But interestingly, the press was asking Smith questions after he made that comment. And I think it was a great question.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know, they asked Smith why he believes white basketball players are inferior and whether he believes there are any cases in which black athletes are inferior.
Wow.
I mean, that's a great question. If you're going to go to the race and say race makes a difference, then ask the question. Of course, to ask a question like that in reality, now this is somebody that did it on, that was a civilian, not a journalist. If a journalist really asked that question, they would probably get a pink slip.
Most likely.
But not Smith's for saying that because, he's already got big contracts. But apparently since he got the big contracts, his stuff, he's not the number one anymore. He's gone down a little bit.
Where do you want me to send this video to?
Just send to my Facebook.
Here we go.
Yeah, you got that.
I'm going to send it over to you.
Yeah. Or you can send it to my phone number, my message. Maybe be better. I can spread it around. Someone, this article that I'm reading, talk about the bigotry and everything for Smith being anti-white. But someone questioned how far an NFL team could go with a black quarterback, black head coach, black general manager, which obviously we've had a black quarterback win the Super Bowl. That has happened.
Yeah.
We've had some great black quarterbacks, but percentage-wise, still small. Smith has long argued that the NFL has overlooked black candidates at those positions because of racial bias. Yet in this case, he's the one reducing athletes to their race, which I guess is a hypocrisy that maybe Smith doesn't even see. He doesn't see it. Wow. But so I'm disappointed in Smith for that, and I liked him. I guess I'd like to hear his comments on all that. Yeah, I mean, he may get away from the subject and not talk about it.
I'm going to see if I can post it under the show right now.
Okay, go ahead.
And
I don't know.
See if that link.
I'm sure it will go. It'll go right onto my Facebook.
I'm not sure if that link is openable. If they can open that link or not.
Probably
look like it. Huh.
It probably went. Let's see.
It's under the comments section.
Okay, my fact checker said Caitlin Clark's white and is a great player. she's responsible. I can't remember how much, like 40% of the WNBA increase in profits and stuff like that. She's been like phenomenal because she really has been an exciting player. And I did start watching it just to see what the big fuss was about. And when I did start watching, I was like, oh my God, not only is she's talented, she's gracious, signs autographs, stays and talks to the kids after the games and that kind of stuff. Then and she's also dating a guy, and they're notorious for having a big percentage of lesbian players.
Right.
So she's got all that going against her because she doesn't have anything that would put her into a minority status, and they just pound the crap out of her.
So they're just
beating her up.
Yeah, just smearing the hell out of her.
Well, physically pounding her.
Yeah.
Out on the go. It's just crazy. And I really thought that it would be so exposed that in her next this year that would all subside a little bit. It's increased. It's just I won't even watch it now because I don't I don't want to see her get mangled again and put on the bench because of injuries. And
Right.
she's bringing in all the money. I mean, before her, there was like one game that ever had a million audience, a million. And
Wow.
since she's been in, and she's normally has over that.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
And just she's brought a lot to the game. And there's so much jealousy and pettiness in this league. It's just ridiculous.
Right.
Just crazy. And the whole thing they think is that this the NBA was built on the hard work of these minority women for so long, and then a white girl comes along and steals it. Now, I've heard commentators say that.
Right.
Like, what? She just wants to play ball. That's it. She just wants to play ball. She wants to win, and she's a winner. She doesn't. Try to promote herself. She wants to promote the team. Again, and they got that against her too.
Yeah, she's a fighter.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean promote the team? What about your own, merch and your own stuff?
Right.
And she's just really different in that she's like old school patriotic. So of course we're going to beat her up.
Actually, I'm going to go ahead since that wasn't open there. I'm going to send it to your. I'm sending it to your phone.
Oh,
Russ.
we'll figure it out. Yeah.
There. So that's over to your phone.
My fact checker sends me a note. There's no superstition in American politics quite so durable as a Republican belief that a losing horse, properly brushed and resaddled, may become secretariat by November. Of course, well done, very, very nice. They drag out the same gentleman, dust off the same speech, polish the same. Edward, everybody does that. I mean, how long have they been doing that to Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters? But anyway, and then stare at the returns like a farmer who planted stones and expected corn. A man who hated the soup on Monday does not return Tuesday and ask whether the chef has ruined it with greater confidence.
Right.
Meanwhile, half the country has taken up socialism the way a child takes up a painted toy because nobody told him the paint was poison. Republicans lost the schools. That's true.
Yeah.
We didn't pay attention. Then lost the students. Oh, that's true.
Yep.
Then acted surprised when the students became voters and opinions borrowed from the chalkboard. America once admitted the man in the big house on the hill. Admired the man on the big hill. Correct.
Well, Russ, I'd like to say this much real quick.
What's
this
that?
is something for the Republican Party out here to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Every time, we get somebody good in office like Trump, that's a fighter.
He's like Caitlin Clark. They're going to beat him up.
Yeah. Everybody gets into laxy-daisy mode. And they forget about everything else that needs to be done here in this country.
Oh, I disagree with you.
Well, I think people put too much on Trump's shoulders, thinking he's going to just get us through anything and everything. And they got to remember, Trump's only one man.
Right.
I mean, this is the way I see it. He's only one man.
But I agree, but it's not. He's an organizer. He organized a team. His team is not one man. His team is huge. And his followers are huge, and they're growing.
Right.
The Republican Party's growing. The Republican that are MAGA are growing, and MAGA isn't about Trump. It's not a Trump party. It's a MAGA party, which is just getting back to basic philosophies.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people get that mixed up. Get confused about
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the left does. The left says it's all about Trump. It's all about Trump. I don't think the right does.
That's what the left says the second they hear MAGA. Oh, you're a Trump supporter. Automatic.
Well, because Trump is the one that pushed MAGA. Now, Trump did not invent MAGA.
Yeah.
In fact, I have years ago I bought a Republican one of the Republican campaign buttons from Ronald Reagan that said "Vote Ronald Reagan, make America great again."
Yeah.
That was Ronald Reagan. So Trump is just a reincarnation of all that.
Yeah.
And it's about Republican values, populist values of closed borders, lower taxes, smaller federal governments, more prosperity, more jobs, national security, all those programs that make America great again that are really getting back to basic constitutional values.
Yep.
And pushing what's best for everybody. And the left hate it because it's going to take away their power. Their power is that people depend on government for their existence,
Right.
for welfare, for whatever. Like, well, if you need something, the government will give it to you.
Right.
And that's where they get their votes. Well, someone like Trump is death to that.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to do it yourself.
Well, yeah, because the Democrats, they're all about free on everything.
Well,
They want everything to be free.
Well, first they got to take it from
Yeah.
someone else, but
Yeah.
they hate billionaires more now than they want to give it away.
Yep. Well, Minnesota's a prime example.
Why? Oh,
Yeah.
fraud.
Oh yeah, all the fraud.
But they're going to push the billionaire thing hard. You know, you figure out the talking points. You watch the news over the weekend and stuff. And this last weekend, it was all about, well, the Trump people, and they kept mentioning Musk because
Right.
there's so much energy towards we hate the billionaires. They're just tying them together, even though Musk doesn't work in the White House anymore. He was an advisor for a
Right.
while. I don't know how many months he stayed. Was it 6 to 8 months or something that he
I
stayed?
think it was 6 months. He was,
And he got a lot of great programs still going with the Doge programs and all that. But that was taken over by other
Right.
people, including elected officials. And but they still use him. They still use the name Musk. They think, but it must resonate. And nothing is by accident. These talking points, coming from some organization within one of the political PACs for the Democrats, and I'm sure they do testing.
right.
They probably bring people together and test different names and different things. And they say, well, who should we tie Trump to? Let me see. Rubio doesn't work because they like Rubio. It's the Rubio Vance. No, that doesn't work. They like, he's okay with that. Musk Trump. Oh yeah, we hate that. Okay,
Right.
well, that's what we're going with.
Yeah.
Musk Trump.
And there's a lot of rumors out there that Elon Musk is still doing a lot of work on the sidelines for Trump.
I have no idea. I mean,
I don't know how much truth is behind that.
they're obviously talking again, and there's been some
Right.
stuff about that, and they're obviously together. And he might call him. And my understanding, and I talk, if you listen to a lot of people, they'll say that Trump calls him directly. Trump calls him directly.
Right.
He has a habit of doing that. Even Tyrus on the Gutfield show
Right.
has talked about that. Like so surreal that you just late at night his phone rings and it's the president.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that? Of course you're going to answer it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Tyrus, what's your thoughts of Tyrus on the Gutfield show?
I think he's brilliant.
Yeah. I like the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's just got a great observational of what really is going on with people, what's going on around
Yeah.
him and stuff. He scoffs at racism and stuff and
Yeah.
victimization and things like that
Yeah.
Get to work. So I'm sure that in a lot of Black communities, although hard to tell because he's part of Hollywood. He did a lot of the movies.
Right.
Not a lot, but he did some movies. He did Bodyguards. He did a lot of stuff. It's hard to know if they completely shunned him or not, but I imagine some did because he talks very positively about Republican Party programs.
Right.
I don't know if I'm sure he's probably Republican. He talks positively about Donald Trump and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's enough to get you locked out of some places.
Yeah.
And I don't think he cares.
Either that or
I
a
don't
bunch of
think it
ice thrown at him.
I don't think he cares.
So-
He's a big boy. He can take care of himself.
Well, listen, are you planning on taking a trip down to the border with me later this afternoon?
I am. We'll see what happens. I got a doctor appointment after we get out of here. I got to go, and it's just routine stuff. I had a pacemaker put in.
Yeah, that's what you said.
A pacemaker put in, and
And how's that coming along for you?
it's still working. I check it every once in a
Well,
while.
I hope so.
It's on my phone. It's a phone app.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I get a phone app, take a look at it, and it says it's still active.
Right.
That's a good thing. And I just had a lower. My heart rate was lowering. The more I exercised, the more it lowered,
Right.
which I thought was normal, and it is
Yeah.
normal. But they thought it was going too far, and possibly because I had AFib, that it should
Right.
have a pacemaker. I said, and I fought it for a while. I said I don't want it. I started getting second opinions and double checking, and
Right.
I found out the doc was right.
Right.
Yeah, it would be a good idea. So
So what was your number one sign that you had AFib?
rapid heart rate in the gym.
So your heart would just up and speed up?
Well, yeah. In fact, I went to the, it happened. I got out of the gym. My trainer quit training. So I was without a trainer for a few weeks. And during that few weeks, I just happened to have a routine medical exam by my cardiologist. It was just a routine thing. And they did an AKG, and the doc says, "Oh, you got AFib." And I'm like, "What the heck's that?" Had no symptoms, no problems.
Wow.
Some people get AFib and they end up in the emergency room.
Right.
Feel like their heart's going to explode. It's going 200 beats a minute or something.
Oh, I've had that happen once before.
Well, it's not good.
Yeah, I was in the hospital over it.
It's not fun.
Yep, it wasn't.
So they said I had it, but I thought, show me, because I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know it was a problem because I wasn't even in the gym. So shortly after I got diagnosed with AFib and they gave me some direction on, keep an eye on it or whatever, I ended up finding another trainer. I was back in the gym and I didn't work out for just 5 minutes. And my heart rate hit 180. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Because I have a monitor.
Right.
I didn't feel like it was 180. I didn't feel out of breath. I didn't feel anything except I thought I bought 3 pieces of equipment because I didn't believe the equipment. I didn't believe it. I asked my trainer if I could borrow his monitor because my monitor's messing up, obviously.
Right. And
I hit 210. From lifting weights and stuff. So I had to change my whole program in the gym. I could, instead of doing 15 reps, I could probably do 5, wait till my heart rate goes down, do 5, wait till my heart rate goes down, do 5.
Yeah.
And so I changed all that up because for 6 months, I was in the gym and my cardiologist says, best thing you could do is keep exercising.
Right.
So I do. But don't let your heart rate stay up high. If you spike it and it comes back down, you're okay, but don't run a marathon.
So now are you able to work out okay without having it spike?
Well, now I had what they call an ablation. An ablation is where they go into your heart with a catheter.
Right.
And they kill part of the inside wall and AFib is a signal problem where the heart got some damage on the inside and it's just sending more signals to beat.
Right.
So it starts vibrating. That's why I call it fibrillation.
Well, isn't that a part of your heart that's also dead?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. And they want to, but they want to kill those signals. So they go in and kill the surface of the inside of the heart in some places.
Right.
Where there's damage. And they did that to me about, 3 months ago now, 3 or 4 months ago. And it was very successful. My heart rate went right back to where it was, right back to normal. And I've been that way ever since.
Well, you're definitely looking good.
Well, thank you.
So yeah.
I still have more work to do. In fact, I put on a little bit of weight because after that surgery, it was an outpatient. It was not a big deal. But I didn't work out for too much. I was lethargic.
Right.
I guess my heart was mad at me.
Well, that's a good way to say it.
Heart was just mad, and it made me sleep more and stuff. And then I didn't feel like lifting weights.
Right.
But now I'm back 4 days a week, and I'm back on track.
Yeah.
I've got a little catch up to do. I got to drop a few pounds and put on a little more muscle. But I'm back healthy. Again, and we'll see. And along with that comes a pacemaker, which, for all I know, doesn't do much. It's just there as a catch-all in case it was a
backup. Yeah.
And it's not one of those. It's not a defibrillator. Now, a defibrillator, when people lay down and they put the paddles on you and say clear.
Yep.
That's a defibrillator. And you don't want to touch that, but they can put one in you surgically inside your body. They just put it right in your chest. You don't need anybody to hold the paddles. And you don't need to say clear because it'll just do it for you whenever it says that you need it.
Right.
That'd be like having a bomb in your chest.
So is that pretty much what yours is?
No, mine is not that.
Okay.
I just do the pacemaker. I don't have the defibrillator. They're not have any concern about my heart being damaged and going to stop or anything like that. They just need to make sure I don't go too low.
Right.
So if my heart wants to slow down too much, they'll say, no, you don't. And they'll keep it.
Yeah.
They'll keep it going. Well, I had a resting heart rate at night in like 45 overnight. And
well, that's actually good.
Well, actually, they say it's not.
Really?
Well, when you're athletes like NFL players and sprint, not the linemen, but the ones that are wide receivers, they'll they get a very low heart rate just through the cardio they do, and
Right.
the cardio system is wide open and stuff, and they don't have it. And of course, a lot of my lowered in heart rate had a lot to do with that too,
Huh.
because I was exercising a lot, doing cardio and doing all that stuff,
Right.
and it kept going down incrementally, slowly and slowly, because my resting heart rate used to be like 75 or so,
Right.
and it got down to a resting heart rate of 60, 55, and at night 45, and
So they actually say that's bad.
well, in my case, it was.
Well,
Not
right,
necessarily if it's just an athlete, but I'm 68.
Oh,
Yeah.
get out of here. You're not that old, are you?
Oh, yeah.
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 All right.
I'm saying 68. They
I-
say
Honestly, I thought you were around my age.
45.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what I am.
Yeah. So
Nope, I'll be 59 this year.
59 is good.
Yep.
But but that's only 10 years or 9. But, so I'll be 69 in September.
Yeah.
But
September.
yeah.
That's my birthday.
Okay.
September.
Well, so it's exactly 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 years different.
Yep.
But I question whether I needed a pacemaker. I question it.
Right.
So, sitting with my wife Helen at one time, and she said, "Well, how low do you make it go?" And I said, "I don't know. I got my and I was getting ready to go to the gym, so I had my my heart monitor. I have a strap on my chest.
Right.
It's more accurate, but I put that on my chest. I said, "Well, let me just calm down here for a minute." And I just kind of meditated a little bit.
Right.
Hit 34,
Wow.
and it surprised me. And I said, "Whoa, well." I definitely, and that was before I had the pacemaker put in.
So did you feel like you were going to pass out?
Didn't feel dizzy, didn't feel loss of
Wow.
anything, nothing.
At 34 beats a minute, you
Didn't
didn't
care.
get dizzy or
I felt fine.
wow.
It means I'm either permanently dizzy or it doesn't have an effect. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Probably permanently dizzy.
It could be. It could be one or both.
Yeah.
It could be. But it's been an interesting journey, and I talk a lot about it on the air, so in case somebody has similar problems, similar issues, what to ask for.
Well, that's exactly why I was just asking what your symptoms were, because I think a lot of people ought to be aware of different symptoms.
And don't put it off.
And yeah, definitely don't put it off.
And go in.
Yeah.
Gosh, I forget who I was talking to the other day about a heart specialist. I think it was my wife that watched a video on a heart specialist that was having symptoms of a heart problem
Right.
and ignored it and went on a hike with his family. And this is a guy that does it for a living. So imagine what us laymen are.
Yeah.
They think, well, I'll just sleep it off.
Well, you know, Russ, when my wife passed away on Veterans Day 2019,
Oh, wow.
we actually went on vacation over to Lincoln City, Oregon.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. She was a city clerk in Wallace, Idaho.
Okay.
And the deputy clerk, Tana, who worked with her at the time, I guess my wife had told her that she'd been having a lot of different pains, chest pains and different things.
Okay.
And she told Tana, "Don't you tell my husband that I'm having these pains, because
Yep.
he'll cancel our trip and demand for me to go get seen."
It's not unusual.
So nothing was said to me about it. I had no clue my
Wow,
wife
what
was
a
having
shame.
problems. And we had just gotten done going for a walk on the beach that day, went to her favorite restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And next thing you know, we were in the Chinook Winds Casino playing, just got in there, not even 10 minutes sitting there playing together. And she just looked at me and said, "Honey, I think I'm going to pass out. I'm getting it feels like someone's sitting on my chest."
Wow.
And I knew what that was. So I called security to grab me a medic.
Right.
And no sooner than I did that, she just turned around and said, she goes, "Honey," she goes, I am going to pass out." And she claps right there in my arms.
That's the last thing she said?
Yep.
Wow.
And
That's too bad.
so here's the thing, folks. If you guys ever have those kind of symptoms, don't feel like you're letting down your loved one or anybody else. I mean, get it taken care of.
And it probably could have been.
Yeah.
Don't know. I'm not a physician, but
When you procrastinate like that, especially,
put yourself in harm's way.
it's not. The point is, you're going to miss all the vacations in the world from that point forward.
Yeah.
If something does happen,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
just get it done, get it out of the way,
But even doctors don't know it. I mean, they don't pay attention to themselves sometimes.
Yep,
Doctors are not the pillars of health.
a lot of doctors are guiltier than you and I.
I know. It's unfortunate.
Yep.
It's unfortunate.
Or they'll lecture to us and say, "Oh, you shouldn't smoke." And the next thing you know, you catch him out in public smoking somewhere.
Happens to some. Gilbert's back on the phone. Good morning, sir.
Well, I'm going to give you what happened to me
What's up?
in my heart.
Uh-huh.
I was in Oregon visiting my boys. I was having this heartburn. So I called my ex-wife up, who was a nurse, and said, I'm having all this heartburn. She goes, well, what are you eating? I go, I hadn't paid attention. Well, I want you to pay attention to what you're eating. So I did. And I thought, well, part of this heartburn was because I'm walking up and down these hills and different climate, different elevation, yada, yada, yada. And that night, I called her again. I said, I'm having a lot of heartburn. And she goes, well, you need to go see a doctor. I go, yeah, when I get back to Yuma. So me and my grandson were talking, having a good time. My grandson, Zachary, who is 26 now. And my friend of mine's name popped up in my head. I go, why am I thinking about Greg for? What's this all about? Then I remembered Greg was having heartburn for his heart attack.
Right.
So I told my son, hey, we need to go to the hospital and check out this. And I told him what happened. He goes, all right. Well, I was 95, 75% clogged.
Wow.
And if I wouldn't have paid attention to my inner intuitions, I would have had a massive heart attack.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, Gilbert, I believe they say if heartburn lasts over 10 to 15 minutes, you should automatically go in and get checked.
Right.
I'd have to double research that, but I think that's the rule of thumb.
But like you and I and Russ, we're in a different climate, a different elevation, so we're making excuses why.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I did, and what helped me out was it was on the 4th of July.
Wow.
That I had, I didn't have my surgery on the 4th of July. They wanted to. And I said, no. You guys doing barbecue? He goes, I was being stubborn. I wouldn't come back to Yuma. What's funny, I go, no, I just come back to Yuma. He goes, Mr. Hernandez, let me give you in perspective. I go, what's that? He goes, you're 35,000 feet up in the air. You go to cardiac arrest. Do you think that pilot's going to land that plane for you?
Oh, I think they probably would.
No, he wouldn't.
Don't try to find an airport for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what he was getting at, and I go, all right. So they're trying to schedule me on the 4th of July. I go, no, we don't want to do that. I go, first of all, it's my grandson's birthday. You guys are barbecuing. And he goes, you're not getting out of the hospital. We're going to tell you that right now. We're going to put you ICU and make you very comfortable. And they operated on me on the 5th of July.
Boy, and I bet you that just about killed you not having that barbecue, huh, Gilbert?
Oh, that was my grandson.
Probably would have killed him.
But what I'm getting at is I had heartburn. So if you're having a lot of heartburn, pay attention to it. Because it's not all about the pain underneath your arm or your chest, or they say you have pain underneath your armpit.
Yeah.
That's the sign of a heart attack. Yeah. It's not always that. And I thought I'd just bring it out to the public.
I appreciate
to me.
And I think they also say sweats can be a sign of a heart attack as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of signs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you, gentlemen.
Take care, man. Bye-bye. Yeah, watch that heartburn. He's still stubborn, though. He's still dictating. I won't get it.
Gotta love that guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's persistent.
Still stubborn.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get it done on the phone. I'd say cut me. Get it done, man. I don't want this heartburn.
Yeah. Well, Russ, I let mine go for quite a while.
You had a heart problem?
Oh, yeah. You bet I did. So after my wife passed away in 2019, I had to wait for her to be embalmed in Lincoln City, Oregon, before they transport her back to Idaho.
Right.
They got to do all the embalming and all the stuff in Oregon to do it.
Yeah, it's weird laws, but yeah.
And on my way back to Idaho, I was driving and following the paramedic, the morgue people, and I started getting some pain. But I thought it was just anxiety. And
you just went through some trauma, man.
And I kind of thought, it's just nothing. It's nothing. Well, I called Doc Baker, good friend of mine, VA doctor, and he turned, and I was just telling him the symptoms I was having. I said, but I think it's anxiety. And he goes,
you just
diagnosed
yourself.
He goes, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He goes, I'm going to call you in right now, some nitroglycerin order. I want you to stop at the nearest Walmart to pick it up.
Okay.
He goes, and I want you to put one under your tongue. Let's just see what happens. And so sure enough, I make the stop, put it under my tongue. I said, by God, doc, it went away. I said, I'm all cured.
It's better than Tums.
And he goes, that's exactly what I was afraid of. He
Yeah,
goes,
that's a bad sign.
goes,
Huh?
you need to get right in the Kootenai Heart the second you get back to Idaho and let them evaluate you. And they actually diagnosed me at that point with congestive heart failure.
Okay. Now, did you have a blockage or what?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it was blockage.
Yeah.
That seems to be the big one.
And I only had 43% of my heart functioning at that point.
Well, for me, I had zero blockage anywhere. I don't have any.
Yeah.
In fact, the people that did the pacemaker, the doc that did the pacemaker, they were talking like that thing went really fast. You're really open. You don't have any blockages, nothing. And I'd had a lot of time, but I was a vegan for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And I'd heard that could help in that, blockage area.
Right.
But even though people made fun of me for not eating meat, I think health wise, it didn't hurt me.
Yep.
I've been eating meat since I've married Helen. So we're fixing meat, which, well, it was more than that. It was also my trainer, because I wasn't developing the muscle that he wanted. I didn't go ahead and get some of the protein. You get the same amount of protein with vegan. It's not a problem. You just have to eat so much of it. Gorillas don't eat meat, but they're very strong, but they don't stop eating all day.
I don't know if I could ever be a vegan though.
Yeah, you could.
I
could lock you in a room and you only get vegan food. You'd be a vegan.
I enjoy a big, fat, juicy steak or a nice
Yeah.
big hamburger time to time. So yeah, I'd be pretty stubborn in that category.
Personal choices. You could do that.
Well, the way I look at it, I guess none of us get out of here alive. If I'm going to go with a smile.
Yeah, but I'm not looking to go tomorrow.
Well, me either. Yeah.
We'd like to put that off a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe see the grandkids a little more, including my youngest grandson who broke his arm 2 days ago.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, a little creep, 4 years old.
How did he manage that?
Trampoline park. We used to go to the trampoline park. It can happen. Like anything, you can't bubble wrap the kids, though. I'm a big supporter of the trampoline park. Yeah. I go myself with the kids, and I do jump with the kids.
Well, you look at the stuff we used to do when we were kids.
Well, I know it. We're lucky we survived it and all that kind of stuff. But
climbing 100-foot tall trees and playing Tarzan. Yeah,
we rode bicycles. Never knew what a helmet was.
That's right.
Now it's mandatory.
Now it's mandatory.
For kids anyway. I don't know if you know this, but Donald Trump, Executive Order 14248. You don't know what that is. I wouldn't expect you to. I wouldn't know. That's the one where he ordered the U.S. Postal Service, that the U.S. Postal Service has to make sure that if they deliver a ballot to an address, that it's legitimate, that they have a double check with a list,
right.
Which has been problematic. I mean, many states, 25 states, challenged Trump's order. And those states, of course, went right to the court system and says it's none of his business. Of course, there's a lot of federal voting that goes on, but it's up to the states to do the voting. That's true.
Yeah.
But they got to follow some of the rules. But anyway, they went to a federal judge, and the federal judge did block the U.S. Postal Service from carrying out the executive order. They said, no, you don't have to do that, because Trump had ordered the Postal Service to transmit ballots for states only if those states first provided a list of mail-in voters among other requirements. Oh. And these states are going, we don't care about federal. And the same thing happened during, the Somali thing that kicked off fraud investigations for Medicaid, which is a federal program. But the states actually administer it.
Right.
They administer it, and then the feds pay either all or some of it. I don't know exactly what the percentage is, but it's a federal program. And once the fraud got going, and of course, the Trump team is saying, show us your records. Well, the state said, we're not showing you our records.
Right.
So we're going to administer it. You can just trust us that we're doing it properly. No double checks, which is ridiculous. And in the there's a lot of things that are getting cut off. I mean, they just stopped paying it. Yeah, the federal government until you show us what, do more research, which has been working for them. In fact, I saw something the other day on a Medicaid program that was to the doctors or something, or to organizations that were doing
Right.
stuff. They cut off 800 of them at one time
Yep.
and waited and didn't notify them, just cut them off and then waited to see if somebody complained that the checks didn't come.
Wow.
Nobody complained.
Unreal.
I mean, they were very selective on the ones they cut off. They cut off the ones that they suspected, like, none of this looks legit type stuff. Well, they had a couple, I guess, that called up and complained.
Well, if it wasn't
But-
legit, I mean,
Well,
there you go. Why
it-
would they
it-
complain?
well, it didn't look legit. They hadn't done the research yet, but they went ahead and cut it off.
Right.
And then they realized that
Wow.
the reason they didn't complain was probably, I'm just guessing here,
Right.
they were fraudulent. And we found, they found a lot of that in the state of Arizona. And
Yeah.
one right here in Yuma. Yuma was a big one.
That's what I
You're
heard.
familiar with that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, the one out in the foothills.
What became of that?
Well, the gentleman involved that is the key suspect in the whole thing is in jail on a $50 million bond.
Wow.
That's a big nut.
That's a big nut.
Yeah, 50
Yeah.
million. That's like President Trump money.
Right.
$50 million bond to get him out, and they confiscated his property. He had like 160 acres out there in Welton. I know one of the neighbors that has called told me that what's going on over there.
Yeah.
He was building a lot on there, like a data center type stuff for medical.
So
stuff.
they've confiscated all this. Has he stood trial yet?
No, that's going to take a while. They're just gathering evidence. What they did is they blocked it all off. I don't know what they confiscated and all, but right after he was elected, according to a neighbor up there was a lot of contractors still doing stuff, and they were removing
Wow.
equipment like crazy, just pulling everything off the property.
Right.
And it took a couple days before they locked it all down and say everything stays here until we this thing all sorted
Wow.
out. There's signs on the gate now.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's right here in Yuma.
Yeah.
That's that biolab out in Foothills now. How much biolab is involved? That's up to the courts. I mean, it's still operating, it's still a good organization as far as I know. I don't know much
Right.
about it. I've gone in there before and used had some of their assistance, but that's got to concern a lot of docs that are working within that system. They said, I didn't know we could do fraud. They're probably not involved, all of them.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with them and who's everyone. But from what I understand, and I haven't verified this, but this guy that was arrested started escalating for some reason the request for reimbursements
Right.
to the point where he was claiming either MRIs or X-rays and stuff like that weren't possible because it was more than what their machines could have pumped out in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd had to have a line 24/7 to get that kind of work done.
Well,
So,
and
who knows?
unfortunately, you look at the amount of Medicaid, Medicare fraud out there left and right as well. And a lot of these doctors were actually participating in it.
Yeah, and the patients didn't know. Like you
Right.
get patients' information,
Yeah.
and then the doctor can prescribe a prosthetic leg, and the guy's got two legs,
Right.
but they can order, like they were ordering stuff like that, and they were getting reimbursed, but the orders never really happened. It was just
Right.
paperwork. They got reimbursed, and
Yeah.
and the person that was supposed to be a prosthetic leg was actually walking around on two legs, never knew what was going on.
Well, I've actually had a couple bills that were double and triple charged, and I'm not saying it was fraud. It could have been very well been a mistake, but
Yeah.
it made me wonder.
Yeah.
But I pay attention to all my medical bills, everything coming through.
Most of us don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I glance at them, but because I have insurance and all pays for it and all that.
But how many people are like you as well?
Yeah.
A lot of people just assume, oh, it's been done. My
Yeah.
insurance covered it. I'm good.
Yeah.
They don't actually go through it and go, oh my God, that same doctor charged me 3 times for that same visit.
What do you mean? I don't need to have a prosthetic leg and a breathing machine. What is that all about? Well, that's how it happens. So
Yeah.
open up those bills and look at it and see,
Yeah.
see if you might got a charge for a prosthetic leg and a breathing machine that you didn't receive.
Yeah. But that's where it starts.
Yeah.
A lot of this where people actually catch it and then they start questioning it. And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, there's another 100 other cases just like it. So
Well, quite often, and this guy in Yuma, I guess been he got in trouble or something and needed the money fast.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the story. I'm curious to find out what's going to happen, but it's going to take who knows how long before it gets into the courts.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't happen fast.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to research that thing for many years. I would assume. I have no idea.
Well, seems to be a lot of it going on anymore.
Well, yes, because it's all in the news right now.
Right.
Because it was covered up for so long. There's more fraud out there than we care to know.
Yeah.
And this NGO business now, NGOs, non-government organizations,
Yep.
are nonprofits.
Yeah.
And they generally operate to get grants to do some things for government
Right.
work. Legitimate normally. That kind of exploded under Obama to where constituents and people would get and would do an NGO and then it would get all these government contracts.
Right.
And a lot of it's just, research or stuff like that doesn't, it's not even a prosthetic leg or anything. It's just research. And you put in bills that you did all this research and all that. And they're getting a ton of money that goes back into the party and stuff with some of this. Some of these NGOs are ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and they come to find out a lot of this so-called research was actually never performed as well.
Well, it's kind of hard to prove because they come out with a paper that says it was.
Yeah.
And it cost us $3 million to hire everybody to do the research.
Yeah. So
and so we fulfilled the contract.
It's gotten to the point anymore, Russ. It's almost like it's hard to even know what is true and what's not true anymore.
Well, that's why we need to look at it.
I mean,
that's why we need to understand.
We just got to keep diving into it as deep as we can get, but that doesn't even give us all the answers.
No, but we do know some things. It's easier to find out what's going on when it's a physical product like oil,
right?
Which has been amazing for me to watch this stuff in Iran.
Yeah.
Going on. It spiked the oil company. I mean, the oil prices for Brent crude went up to like 120 something, $120 a barrel during its peak. And some of that's panic and some of that is because there's no oil coming out and all of a sudden it's more rare, so it's more valuable.
Aren't we down to like $70 or $80 a barrel right now?
It's below 70.
Yeah, below 70.
Just barely. Brent may still be slightly below.
So my question is if it's that low, why are we still paying almost $4 a gallon?
Because when you buy a barrel of oil, quite often it's on a ship somewhere. That ship hasn't even made it to you yet. So it's going to take months before that oil becomes gas.
Right.
So the stuff that's gas right now costs $110, $120 a barrel.
Right.
The $70 a barrel oil hasn't been processed yet.
Wow.
So it's not immediate, obviously.
What, 4, 5, 6 months down the road?
No, it'll be quicker than that. But here's what Trump's saying right now. Trump just made these statements yesterday. Just as I promised, oil prices are plummeting fast, and gas prices at the pump are dropping too, but not as fast as they should be. And just so you know, the lowest gas in Yuma nationally, I don't know exact prices, like $3.80, $3.90 in that area.
That's what I paid in Lake Havasu on my way here.
Yeah,
$3.80.
Well, I looked in Yuma. The cheapest gas prices in Yuma are $3.75. So that's quite a drop from where it's been. And so he's not wrong. Now, this last Friday, a network called Freedom Fuel Network lowered the price at 25 gas stations at the greater Philadelphia area. And that's according to Trump. Trump says, as we approach America's 250th birthday, I'm pleased to announce that a very smart retailer located throughout the Northeast is stepping up and wishing the people of Philadelphia happy birthday. Freedom Fuel Network is taking the lead and urged other retailers to follow. They are doing this because they love USA. We are proud to celebrate America's 250th birthday in a great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the birthplace of our very special one-of-a-kind Declaration of Independence. America has never been stronger than it is now, and gas prices will soon be back to record low prices. Americans enjoyed at the pump before our very successful excursion in Iran. Happy birthday, America. God, he's out there, man. Trump.
Yeah.
Trump is over the top. And I appreciate him.
Yeah.
I do. We don't deserve him, as Gutfield says.
Yeah.
We don't deserve him. He said, just as I promised, oil prices are plummeting fast and all that stuff. But now they want the price to get down to 250 a gallon because it's 250 years. I don't know. Maybe by the end of the year is what I hear a lot of
That'd
guys
be
say.
nice to see it. Yeah.
It's be down to around 250. So it's out of the real danger zone. It's heading in the right direction. And it's just a shock to me because our ceasefire is not what we'd call a ceasefire if it was happening between us and Mexico.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a ceasefire, but it is there, and it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
And this Trump approach to these kinds of action, like in Venezuela and Iran, is not conventional. Conventional, you put troops on the ground and you stay for 10 years and you walk away.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't get it done.
Well, with Trump declaring war against the cartels,
Yeah, he did.
And a lot of people don't realize that really did happen. Makes you wonder if that's not why we're getting so many troops lining up and down our borders from here.
I have no idea.
And I'm told it's not just Arizona. It's happening on the California side right now. It's also happening in Texas, is what my other friend told me that's working down there on the borders.
Well, that would make sense, but I don't see it in the press. I don't see a lot of stuff.
My question is, why is it not being more disclosed of what's really happening?
I don't know. I told you I went down there and talked to an Army guy that said he wish I would just move on.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here.
Well, one of the points is, when you
he's not a public relations guy.
Yeah.
They got to be careful.
Yeah. But when you bring in 101st Airborne, which they did bring in.
I haven't seen those.
Oh, yeah. Google it.
Okay.
That 101st Airborne Division has been on our borders. And it's like, why would you bring 101st Airborne to our borders here?
Normally, I'm very used to seeing National Guard. They usually,
if it's just for border security.
The National Guard was very common. It's very common to come in during they need a little help, and then they send them home.
Yeah.
But have regular Army? That's kind of weird.
Well, that's it. I mean, these guys were active Army.
It's kind of like the 38th parallel. Yeah. in Korea.
Well, I've got a video here from almost 3 months ago with the military, where I interviewed them right there at the wall. And and I don't know if you've seen their big solar setup they have with the drones down here on the down past the Britain Farm.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And Britain Farm's out there on
they call there's a name for the setup.
By the Kokopah RV resort there.
You'd have to watch the video. There's a name for the setup that they got down there.
I may have seen it, but I probably look at it as something else.
And one of the things I was explained.
And that belongs to the Border Patrol, or
no? This belongs to the military.
A military solar array.
Yep, it's a solar setup with the drones and stuff. And what this does is it knocks out the cartel's drones.
Oh, so it's a jammer.
It's a jammer, and they have actually flown drones over. Mexico has.
That's been well documented to drop drugs and stuff.
And the military down here is actually dropping those drones. So,
well, yeah, that technology is very tried and true, but we were doing it before the Ukrainian war. The Ukrainian war has really escalated the innovativeness in these drones. And right now jammers don't work on Ukraine drones.
Nope.
They started using like something looks like fishing line. Instead of a radio signal, it's fiber optics.
I personally think, Russ, Ukraine's a lot more advanced than what people realize.
Yeah, but they did it on off-the-shelf stuff. They just started putting stuff together, which is just remarkable because they don't have the big budgets. They don't have the United States budgets of billions to use. So they make it for a couple bucks.
Yeah.
This is kind of weird.
Has there been any recent talk of any kind of peace talk between them and Russia?
Well, no. I mean, the talks have been, are we going to talk? No. Okay, we'll talk again later about talking. No, and I think there's not enough pain yet, believe it or not, after 4 years. Here's what I hear about, and Russia was always the big one. It's going to take 3 days. They got the second largest army in the whole world, more tanks than anybody in the whole world. And Ukraine was going to be snuffed out in 3 days.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it just didn't work out that way. And it's been 4 years, and it's been, whatever territory Russia took overnight in that secret, surge.
Yeah.
They lost some of it within the first few months, and then it's been stalemate ever since. And Russia's been gaining small chunks.
Right.
I mean, to the point where it would be like the year 2075 before they ever, that kind of rate. It's going to be a long time because it's basically like World War I stalemate. But recently, it's not been. I mean, Russia's been taking a pounding,
right,
and they've lost so much that it's not that they've lost a lot of the territory back, but Ukraine's been concentrating on bombing Russia, Moscow, and all the cities.
Well, the amount of lives that both sides have lost
is
just
tremendous,
in the millions.
Yeah, like 2 million or so. But
that's a lot of lives.
There's supposed to be like, according to Ukraine, 1.5 million Russians that are either dead or disabled.
Right.
And it's just a sad deal. And the amount of casualties are greater every day at this stage,
right,
than they were. It just keeps escalating and escalating. We just when you think can't. And there's days that the Ukraine has taken out, according to them, 500 pieces of equipment in one day.
Right.
500.
Yeah.
A lot of, because they're going after fuel trucks and transport vehicles, supply vehicles, tractor trailers that are supplying the troops,
right,
and those kind of things. And they're making millions of drones, millions, and they're highly sophisticated, and they can't be blocked. And Russia's got their handful.
Russ, what are your thoughts on Trump launching a full-scale attack on the cartel? What's your thoughts to it?
My thought is, I think it would be a mistake for a lot of reasons. When you say cartel, I'm thinking Mexico. Of course, the cartels exist more
Mexico,
than that.
Venezuela, cartels. Well, they're all connected.
Yeah.
Right.
Who knows what we're doing in secret, but
right,
obviously the boats aren't making it very far. There's already a military attack on boats, and there's been, who knows, 100 boats or something, a few hundred lives that have been taken, and those boats have been just eliminated.
I thought those numbers are up to over 200 now, boats taken.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong.
Lives, maybe, but not.
Maybe that's it.
But, he's offered help to Sheinbaum, the president over in Mexico. And she's claiming, it's sovereign land, it's ours. You're not going to come in here. No.
Right.
And one would assume that if that happened, it would be like Iran. They would be all out,
right,
crazy, and Sheinbaum may be the first casualty. Who knows? Because it's not unusual for elected leaders in Mexico to all of a sudden find themselves, losing their lives.
Right.
It's a dangerous business. So whether or not she's helping them or ignoring and just letting it happen or has an agreement, who knows? But she's in a tricky place.
Yeah.
So she's been flat no. And for us to invade Mexico, it ain't going to happen.
Right.
I don't think that makes sense on anything. I mean, people can say, well, we invaded Venezuela. Yeah, well, Venezuela, country was outlawed, and Maduro had arrest warrants and stuff for his trafficking and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And they did take out the leadership. We're not there with Mexico. We don't have, to my knowledge, we don't have anything that says that Sheinbaum is an international, terrorist, and we're going to go in and take her in the middle of the night.
Right.
But I guarantee you, these countries are looking at it a little differently now that Maduro got. I mean, here's a guy that dared us to come, that knew we were coming,
right,
that was surrounded by military, had the best equipment from China, the best equipment from Russia, and to detect stealth aircraft supposedly from China.
Right.
They had modern radar that could see an F-35, see an F-22, which ended up not being probably true.
Wow.
That's just what they thought.
Right.
By the way, the Chinese engineer that developed all those programs has disappeared, including all his records.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, he's gone. Don't know where he is.
Well, I'll probably never see him again.
We don't know. He may have lied and said it's foolproof, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But maybe we don't know. But all the countries around are on notice, and Trump's put them on notice.
But how do you end the war on the drugs and the fentanyl that's coming into America that's killing off, over 1 million Americans?
I think Trump is doing the right things. One is closing the border is the number one.
100% agree.
he's diplomatically working with China to stop the trafficking of them selling the raw ingredients that Mexico's using to create fentanyl. The fentanyl's not coming out of China now, more just the substance that makes fentanyl.
Yeah.
And
Well, a lot of it's coming out of Mexico now and Venezuela. Yeah.
I don't know if the raw materials are, but the fentanyl is.
Yeah.
It's coming out of Mexico City, I understand.
Right.
That they're actually making the fentanyl, but with Chinese. And that's not a small amount. I mean, we're talking tankers full of these raw materials. And actually we have confiscated one of those ships that had the raw materials and stuff. So I think that's the right pressures, and the pressures of stopping the transportation, which is on our southern border. And that's been somewhat effective, I think, because I understand the amount getting through is down. Obviously, it's not coming through to the boats anymore like it was, because they blow those up, and there's more pressure. And maybe that's what the Army's doing on the border, is trying to catch that stuff. And maybe that's what they're doing is with the drones and all, because that's, they're taking away the ability to do it with Trump putting up the wall, closing the borders. Now, when I say close the border, I mean close the borders in between the ports. The ports of entry are open.
Right.
You can come legally all you want right through the ports of entry, but between the borders where it was a sieve, you'd get thousands of people crossing. But mixed into that, the cartels were shoving drugs through there, while the Border Patrol is distracted, and that's well known because they're sophisticated. They have their own surveillance equipment. They know where the Border Patrol is. They know where it's going.
Right.
And you put 1,000 people in a chunk, and they all got to be processed. That's going to tie all the Border Patrol guys up. 2 miles up the street, you can take your fentanyl through.
Yeah.
Well, that's drying up quickly as this Border Patrol's been putting up day and night, man. It's going through. And now they're doing areas that they didn't think were necessary. Like when you get around the mountainous areas, they weren't really putting up the fence, and they found out that wasn't true because they found out that these guys are climbing over those hills.
Oh, yeah.
So the fencing is actually being designed also over those areas. And I know those silly people, particularly politicians, well, you build a 30-foot wall, you're going to get a 31-foot ladder.
Yeah.
All that's true is you're going to try it. And you might find a specialized ninja Mexican that can climb it, but it's not going to be masses. Plus, it's going to slow them down so much because actually it's double fenced. They're going to see you climbing it. And they're going to say, hey, Joe, get out there, man. And they're also putting in these high-speed roads in between the fences.
Yep.
So the Border Patrol could be 10 miles down the road, but in 60 miles an hour, they're going to be there in a few minutes before you can get through that second barrier.
Not to mention the satellite, the drones that we're flying, keeping watch on our borders as well.
That's where we need to be. And that's quickly getting assembled. I don't know what
but you don't think striking the drug labs would be a good thing?
I think it's a very good thing if we could do it. But that takes cooperation, communication with a willing partner.
Yeah.
And
I don't think you're going to get the president of Mexico to be willing.
Not right now, but those pressures continue to ramp up. Those pressures continue to ramp up. I don't know what that takes, but they've been doing that more in foreign countries.
Yeah.
We get willing partners that want to do it. I think Venezuela's been more willing than ever, but I don't think they had the fentanyl stuff going on. I don't know. They were more trafficking. I think.
Yeah, my understanding, fentanyl now has become the #1 drug of choice here in America.
I've never tried it.
No.
What's it like?
You and me both. Never. But the point is, I hear that's what people are very much getting hooked on left and right.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, fentanyl.
I guess so. Apparently, it's hidden in other things, and you don't know it's there.
Well, they're actually putting it even in marijuana.
Well, probably.
People don't even know it.
I know in Oxycontin type stuff.
In Oxycontin, yeah.
You think you're getting heroin, but you're getting fentanyl with it. It's synthetic heroin.
Yep.
And it's not hard to overdose because it's so potent. It's micrograms.
Yeah.
And if you're making that stuff in your garage, you may not be accurate. You may be a few micrograms over. They say, oops.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah. So people are dying.
Yeah.
But at a lower rate, I understand. I mean, which is one way to see, is this working?
Yeah.
Well, when you see the lower rate coming up, that it's something's happening.
Right.
Just like in the Iranian war, people are questioning. I watch a lot of the different news channels just to see what information's getting out there. Now, you listen to Trump people. Strait of Hormuz is open. We're pushing oil through there to greater numbers it's ever been.
Right.
And then you listen to other stations. It says, well, we just talked with the officials in Iran and they say there's no oil getting through the strait. Now somebody is going to be wrong in a big way.
Right.
So you go to the markets and say, what's the market say? Well, the market's down from 110, 120 bucks to 70. Well, it didn't get down
By
because there's
itself.
no oil.
Yeah. Something happened.
There's oil.
Yep.
There's oil getting through, or it wouldn't come down.
Yeah.
It's still volatile.
Yeah.
And Iran felt like they had to shoot a ship in order to prove up we're still in charge.
Right.
Of course, that got bombs shoved so far up their rectum that they thought twice about doing it again. You just don't want to keep doing that because eventually you're gonna trigger a response. And by the way, that ship that was hit was a cargo ship. It was not a oil ship. And I don't remember what country, but it actually went through the straits. It was already through the straits, and it didn't go through the straits on the Iranian side. It went through on the Oman side, and close to their shore. And it was already through the straits, and it was hidden towards open. Like we got it made, dudes. We made it through. We're going through there, and bam, they get hit with a drone. And that drone was a statement to the other neighboring countries, like, don't even let it go through on your property. Now, see, this is within their sovereign territory, just offshore.
Right.
It belonged to them, not to Iran, not to international seaway even.
Wow.
We've been bringing them through on the Onan with their cooperation at the other side of the strait.
Right.
And they didn't like it. In fact, they've been firing on neighbors. They're so disconnected. And the clerics got together the other day, and I talked about this yesterday, that 88 of the clerics, and that's an official government organization.
Right.
I guess they are the clerics that get together to decide who the supreme leader is. So they got some political power, and they got together to make some statements.
Right.
And some of the statements are that they don't agree with the memorandum, and they think that we should continue the war, stuff like that. I mean, these guys are militant clerics.
Right.
You think of a cleric like they're all peaceful. No, these guys are wanting to kill people. But only 66 of them signed, which shows that there's a disconnect. So you don't know what they're thinking, what they're doing, except that there is more friction in their country probably than us and between Democrats and Republicans. They've got right within their own clerics. They've got a disconnect on what's right and what's wrong. So you may have everyone agree that we're not going to fire, and then somebody in a bunker pulls a trigger.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Trump sees that, and Trump has been more than patient. I mean, a lot of in years past, we would have already sent ground troops, 20,000 ground troops or something.
Oh yeah.
And we would have ended up with another Vietnam, Afghanistan or something. And we're doing all we can to avoid that. Right. And I think that's a good move, but it's one that most people will sit back and say, what are you waiting for? Get it done already. Just bomb them. Do that. And I understand that sentiment, but I don't have his.
Russ, the American people got to realize, we are already so stretched thin with our military forces.
No.
Well, if you think about it, we've got forces on the ground over in Africa.
Yeah.
We've got forces on the ground right here, just on our borders.
Yeah.
We've got forces.
They've all got to be somewhere.
Yeah, they've got to be somewhere.
My understanding is that we got 10.
But how much more can we handle of more wars? Is my point.
Well, that would be a big deal. Right now we have 15,000 troops that are dedicated to the Iranian. That's not normally there. But when you count everything that's in there, that's with in Kuwait and other air bases and Saudi Arabia and all that, in that area, we have 60,000 total. But most of that is because that's their normal base of operations. Right. Yeah. The 15,000 is extra, and those are Marines and stuff that are on the ships and airborne that's on the ships that are staying ready in case they need something like Carg Island or something. But
well, I just broadcasted last night. I did a broadcast, and and doing some research, our Yuma Proving Grounds right here in Yuma,
What about it?
that they're actually bringing in our military. They're doing the new guys are being trained for border security right here at the Yuma Proving Grounds.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
You know, I used to do a lot more with our military here. I mean, working with their public relations people.
Here, I'll pull it up for you and I'll read it to you because I read it for my audience last night. Right here, why is active Army troops in Yuma, Arizona? So let's see if this might be it right here. Did you find it?
No,
Oh,
I can't. I can't even get my phone working right now. What'd you do to my phone?
So right here, Russ, it says active Army troops are in Yuma, Arizona to secure the southern border and conduct military testing. The Department of Defense established a designated military zone in the area to combat illicit activity and support border operations. Active Army troops are executing these missions for two primary reasons: border militarization zones. The Pentagon established the Yuma National Defense Area, an extension of nearby military installations spanning across the border region. Soldiers are operating out of outposts like Camp Grip to man mobile radar units. So that's the radar units I was telling you about. And then conduct mounted patrols and assist in deterring and detaining unauthorized border crossings. And
that's on what, the YPG website?
And then right here, military training and equipment testing. Yuma is the home to the U.S. Army Yuma Proving Grounds, which serves as a major hub for the Department of Defense to test weapons, vehicles, and conduct advanced military readiness training.
Right.
But that's not the article I read to my audience last night. It's another one. We're saying now our new recruits are coming in right there to be trained for border operations here.
Well, we got him out there.
Which is
Chris
quite-
Larson,
which
where
is
you
quite
been, man?
interesting.
You out getting a haircut or what?
Yeah,
Hey, how you doing?
how's it going?
Good.
Yeah, yesterday was the day I ended up going to bed about 2:30 this morning.
Why?
Right about the time I sent you that
What's
text.
the matter, man?
Oh,
You
just
just
one
decided
thing
to
after
stay
the other
up?
came up yesterday, and I had stuff that had to be done, so I
I
had
don't
to get it
blame you.
done. So,
So you needed your beauty sleep?
well, everyone knows that, but yeah, I needed to be able to drive, so I needed some clarity this morning. So
A little bit.
I got almost 5 hours, so I should
5
be
hours is
functional.
good.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's functional. I'll be taking a nap later, but
that's all right.
Yeah.
Jonathan drove over here from Tucson because you couldn't make it.
this is Jonathan.
Yeah.
Hey,
How you doing, buddy?
how's it going?
Good to see you.
Yeah, he's been doing blogs on the border for many years now.
Oh, okay.
And now because the border is like locked
There's
down,
nothing to talk about.
what's he got to talk about?
Yeah. Well, we're actually broadcasting live on Q Broadcast Channel 24 today as well.
Uh-huh.
By the way, Russ, your analytic numbers have gone through the roof on Q Broadcast.
People are tuning
People
in.
are actually tuning
Wow.
in.
What the
watching
heck, man?
morning shows.
So it's like double digits now.
Oh, it's getting it's getting numbers are getting up there pretty good.
We got 10. That's awesome.
No, I thought it was 12.
12 could be. You know.
That's
The,
awesome.
so I'm going to bring you up to date on some news.
Okay, let's do that.
You may not know this. Where's Khomeini's body? Do you know the Ali Khomeini that
from
was he was
The
blown,
first round of
he was blown up, the very
Yeah.
first guy. He was in office for 36 years. He led that whole republic for 36. I didn't know it was that long.
wow. And he's
You
taken out office.
He was taken out in a U.S.
36
strike.
seconds after the
That-
offensive started.
That was on February 28th. Him
Right.
and his whole group of people sitting right there at the table. Poof,
right.
gone. They have not had a funeral for him.
Okay.
That's I didn't know this.
I didn't care, but,
But well,
it's interesting.
the reason it's interesting too is that's kind of against their religious standard.
Yeah, I would expect.
Oh, really?
Yeah. According to Muhammad Omar, he's a doctor. He said the mechanism is almost certainly refrigerated cold storage. I mean, that's probably where it is.
Uh-huh.
Not embalming. They don't do the embalming.
Right, I know that for.
Did you?
Know,
I didn't
well,
know that.
I knew that for Jewish people too. There's specific rules about what can be done to the
Right.
body,
How the
and they
body's
have to be-
prepared or
They
whatever.
have to be buried a certain period of time afterwards.
Well, and this is supposed to be quick, but as Islam bars chemical embalming,
Right.
Sharia law allows delayed burial and preservation by cold in exceptional cases, and a clerical exception for a supreme leader is an easy one to get.
Right.
Iran's forensic morgues already hold bodies for months, so 4 months in freezing is not exotic. That is what religious and legal standards cover.
Mm.
But then it goes on to say there may not be much of a body to present. Khomeini was killed by a bunker penetration strike, and others killed with him were recovered weeks later and identified by DNA.
Wow.
So they may just have a couple of jars of DNA in there or something. They don't really know. A regime holding the intact body does not cancel farewell, though. The burial site, they've shifted it repeatedly, I guess. They're afraid of it being attacked. I don't know. And confirm that he can be buried only days out. So they're not going to let you know where the burial site is until it's time to do it.
Like
but they're going to have a big event while they're in the middle of this conflict. They said it reads less like reverence and more like remains that they could preserve but not display. They're not going to display it. Iranian authorities are portraying the funeral as both a farewell to the leader and a show of strength under the slogan, "We must avenge."
Yeah,
this is them winning.
It was feeling to me like some sort of a political statement by doing, just the timing of it.
Yeah. Iranian state media is putting out there that Wednesday, the ceremony will be conducted with full grandeur. And we're going to turn out 1 million people to make this event a historical occasion, a national epic in the memory of the Islamic Republic in Iran.
And people will be out there cheering or else.
Oh, yeah. You got choices, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other choice is.
You can go to that funeral or you can go to your own.
But there's going to be public viewings on Saturday and Sunday. I'm sure it's going to be closed casket, of course.
Yeah.
And a funeral procession is scheduled for July 6th. So that's coming right up. Local authorities estimate 15 to 20 million people could attend. There's only, on a good day, 90 million in the whole country on a good day.
Right.
I don't think now's a good day.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are still there.
Huh.
Another procession is planned the following day in Qom, one of the Shiites Islamic's holiest site. But the numbers the regime is putting out up to 20 million in that one place. And in Tehran, 35 million. And there's 14,000 journalists credentialed, and here's where you messed out. Have you gotten your credentials?
I got that thing in the mail, and I wasn't sure what it was.
14,000 credentialed journalists. They messaged Tehran is spending everything it has to project continuity and strength, because after the war, both are in question.
Well, politically speaking,
the Basij and the IRGC running this story, not a detail. The Basij is coordinating logistics, highways turned into parking. Each Tehran district assigned a province, 5 public holidays declared, and the guard has crowd control. Of course they do.
Yeah.
I mean, the crowd control works well. I mean, they killed like 30 to 40,000 people.
Well, that is their crowd control.
Yeah.
When you kill the crowd, they're easy to control.
Man. But this I don't know what to expect on this funeral, but it can't be something that's going to work out well. I mean, it's got a possibility of some problems. Rodney Glassman just called. Do you think we should talk to him?
No,
Okay, it was well. Okay, go ahead.
We're done with that. We're done with this article.
Good morning, Russ. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Good. Well, thanks for having me on.
Sure.
We are obviously we're just 19 days away from the Republican primary. Voters have their ballots, and we've discovered yet another reason why it's important to nominate a Republican with actual legal experience to be our Attorney General. I don't know if you guys were tracking the end of the legislative session.
Nope.
With the
I don't know what you're talking about. What happened?
Well, the House concurrent resolution that was put forward by our state Senate president, my Republican primary opponent, the guy that got his law license 28 months ago, is a proposal that will defund law enforcement across the state by not allowing police officers and firefighters to negotiate to protect their families with municipalities.
What could
It's,
possibly go wrong there? Wow.
It's insane. What happened was, in an effort to damage the teachers union, the legislators, including Warren Peterson, forgot to include the words teachers when referring language to the ballot that would prohibit negotiating. And so it's a gentle reminder, as you know, Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force JAG Corps Reserve, 17 years as a prosecutor, 20 years almost as a practicing attorney. And so just out and about reminding everyone that the Attorney General's job is to run the largest law office in the state and represent the people, and asking everyone to make sure they vote Rodney Glassman in the coming days.
All right. And of course, that's Rodney Glassman calling, just so you know.
All right.
Yes, it is. What are your big plans for the 4th of July?
Well, we're just going to stay right here in Yuma. There's a celebration going on for the city and all that down at the Civic Center. We're going to try to break into that. I got to figure out where to park though. Right now, I want to park now so I can get out.
Yeah.
After they blow off the fireworks, getting out of those things could take a day.
Wow.
Oh yeah. And just one more reason why we have all of our law enforcement officers across the state that are going to be working extra time this weekend. And as your Sheriff Leon Wilmot always is talking about, the only statewide elected official that can truly protect law enforcement is the Attorney General. And that's just one more reason why having someone with a prosecutorial background like I have, do you know there's over 400,000 veterans in Arizona?
I don't doubt it. I mean, we're a huge VA type place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yuma is too.
it's
Yuma, we've
interesting.
got tons of them in Yuma. I mean, it's big.
Oh yeah, and you have Marines down there in Yuma.
Oh, yeah.
I had to join the Air Force because the Marines are the ones that require a pull-up. And I never learned how to push away from the table long enough to be able to pull myself
and you got
up.
those push-ups over there, those Army guys. Yeah. I understand.
But things are going really, really well.
Good.
Traveling the state quite a bit. We're going to be doing a River City tour next week with Congressman Paul Gosar.
Yeah.
Congressman Gosar, who is the dean of the Arizona delegation, the senior Republican, has endorsed Andy Biggs for governor,
Right.
and has endorsed me, Rodney Glassman, for Attorney General. What Congressman Gosar has said is that Andy and I are the two Republicans that he trusts, period, and that he trusts will actually do the job that we're running for, because it's so important, not just to bring conservative values to these statewide offices, but obviously the know-how to do the job, because you wouldn't have a barista flying your plane, and you wouldn't have a CPA doing your plumbing. So in what world would you have a realtor as your lawyer? It's crazy.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Hey, what do you think of the, since you are a lawyer and you play those games, what do you think of some of the stuff that got released from the Supreme Court this last few days?
You know what? I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the Supreme Court ruling on allowing states to prohibit biological boys from competing against girls. But what we have to remember is the Supreme Court ruling said that it is permissible for states to pass those laws.
Right.
But Russ, as you know, I have the Maricopa County Sheriff, Jerry Sheridan, as the chairman of my campaign, but I also have the Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tom Horn. You know Tom.
I do.
Tom, the former Attorney General, is one of my campaign co-chairs, because in Arizona, we elect the superintendent to run the Department of Education, but the Department of Education has no lawyers. They're all assistant attorney generals. And the problem that Tom's having now is that we already have a law in the books that says that biological boys cannot compete against girls, but we also have a liberal Democrat in Chris Mays, the current Attorney General, who refuses to represent the Department of Education,
which is ridiculous.
And so it's ridiculous, but it's also a reminder that we can pass any laws that we want. The Supreme Court, released a decision regarding when ballots can be counted for elections. But once again, which statewide elected official in Arizona is in charge of enforcing Arizona's election laws?
Well,
Right.
The Attorney General.
Attorney General. That's it. That's number one.
And so you look at the decisions that were released, whether it's boys competing against girls, whether it's how states should be running their elections, and there is one statewide elected official that we're going to nominate, as you know, on July 21st, which is why I'm bugging everyone to vote for me, Rodney Glassman, today. That actually is the one that has to enforce all those laws that the states are now allowed to pass. And so that's why it comes back down to experience, because the Supreme Court can pass all the rulings they want, but you have to have someone that can enforce them, or frankly, you have to have someone that's going to challenge them again. Because one of the things I have friends down there in Yuma, be it Russ Jones, who's a big supporter, be it Robbie Barkley, be it Sonny Rodriguez. A lot of guys from the ag community down there have known me since I was 23 in grad school at the University of Arizona. And one of the reasons why they support me is because it's that persistence. You and I have known each other a long time.
Right.
And when you're hiring your lawyer, you want someone who's not just going to take things at face value, but is going to fight and persist and try again. So on some of these rulings, think about this. I'm pro-life, but think about this. Imagine if lawyers across the country had never challenged the precedent of Roe v. Wade. It would still be the precedent, but because of President Donald Trump, remember, President Trump appointed new Supreme Court justices, and the law was tested again. And look what happened. And it's interesting because in Arizona, Russ, we even have a law on the books right now. There's a state statute that says that you have to have 5 years of experience as a lawyer to be the Attorney General. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, it's on the books right now, which means based on state statute, my Republican primary opponent doesn't even meet the requirements of our state law.
And how can he be elected?
Yeah.
Because it will be tested again. It will be tested.
Oh, tested.
If he happens to be the nominee, then I know a Democrat lady who's already filed 42 lawsuits against President Trump, even though we're a Republican state. You know that lady?
Yeah, I've heard of her.
So if Republicans nominate the candidate with zero experience as a practicing attorney, my opponent, guess what the first thing Chris Mays is going to do? File a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And then all of us as Republicans are going to either have to acknowledge that we shouldn't have nominated him, or we're going to have to defend the fact that we nominated a guy with zero experience to be our Republican nominee, and that's going to drag down the whole ticket. But so your question about the Supreme Court, though, is tremendous. Think about how lucky we are to have President Trump, who appointed these new Supreme Court justices.
But I have another question about the one that we just talked about, the Boys and Girls Room. California has come out and said, well, that doesn't affect us because we got a California law says we can do it. So they're correct in that assumption then, because the Supreme Court left it open to the state.
The states are allowed to pass the laws that they want to pass. And the challenge we have is, look, I can't see your hands, but if I said, raise your hand, if you think that Arizona currently enforces the election laws we already have on the books.
We don't.
No one does. No one does. Ballot harvesting is already illegal. Drop boxes are supposed to be monitored. So I always remind Arizona voters that the reason we have to have an attorney general that knows how to be a prosecutor and has been a prosecutor and knows how to file lawsuits. And I'm the only Republican running that's ever served in uniform, that's ever filed a lawsuit as a lawyer, that's ever prosecuted a criminal as a lawyer. My opponent got his law license 23 months ago, and people always go, why do you keep talking about experience? And the fact he has none, that's what this Republican primary is about. I'm, Rodney Glassman, 20-year lawyer, Warren Peterson, 28-month law license, zero experience. And the reason it matters is because, yes, Russ, the states can pass the laws. And remember, California is insane. They don't care if biological boys compete against girls. I think in some municipalities they even are attempting to have people who are here illegally vote. And the reality is that when we pass our great laws, who's enforcing them? The Attorney General, and the Attorney General is an elected official. It's not like It's not like the feds or the president gets to appoint the attorney general. In Arizona, the attorney general works for the people.
This is going to be a real problem when it comes to sports and colleges that go across state lines. One state has boys and the mixed in with the girls, and one state doesn't. I don't know how they're going to go sort through that crap.
Once again, depending on what laws the state legislature passes,
Right.
Yeah.
it will be my job in Arizona to enforce those laws. The chief law enforcement officer. But in addition to enforcing the laws, remember, the attorney general also runs the largest law office in the state. So I'll be the lawyer for the Department of Real Estate. You have a ton of realtors in Yuma, and crazy Katie Hobbs appoints the real estate commissioner. But guess how many lawyers the Department of Real Estate has?
None.
They're all assistant attorney generals. We have water issues, the Department of Water Resources, the Department of, I think the current ag commissioner has Yuma roots, Paul Brierly. Once the Department of Agriculture, no lawyers, all assistant attorney generals, the Department of Labor, and Arizonans need someone that they can call that knows how to call the client back. And once again, that's me. And I've been coming to Yuma, for over 20 years. Our family has an ag background from the University of Arizona in Central California. And so to have an attorney that actually understands your issues and is willing to listen is going to be critical. But yes, any laws that are passed by the state of Arizona, it's the job of the attorney general to defend them. Most people don't realize that because we see Chris Mays right now. And, we're a Republican state. President Trump won by over 5 percentage points.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have a Democrat attorney general who sued the Trump administration 42 times.
Yeah.
Only 42.
In the past 16 months.
Wow.
42 times. Well, you know who funds those lawsuits?
We do.
We do. And where does she actually get the money? She
From
gets it
us.
from the state legislature.
Yeah.
And guess who's in charge of funding her budget at the state legislature?
Your opponent.
My Republican primary opponent, Warren Peterson. He's
almost a
the
racketeer.
enabler. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens when you have people, that don't understand the job that they've applied for and that they've been selected for. And that's why this Republican primary is so important. I talk often with the gubernatorial candidates because you'll hear the guys running for governor say, we're going to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. You hear them say that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know how many investigators the governor's office gets?
Well, they just took credit for a bunch of fraud, especially the one in Yuma just recently. Chris Mays did.
The governor, remember, because that's the attorney general.
Yeah.
Guess how many investigators the governor gets?
I'm going to say 0.
None. They're all employees of our elected attorney general. So if you want to have an attorney general that's going to root out waste, fraud, and abuse by opening investigations, would you ever hire someone to be the attorney general that had never investigated a crime before?
No. But
right?
Let me ask you, the stuff that Chris Mays just really put out there, I saw it wasn't really that much for the statewide considering what's going on. Is she really doing it, or did she just stumble into a few, or did she piggyback onto somebody, taking credit for what she did?
She's putting lipstick on a pig.
Well, how much experience do you have with lipstick?
None, but I'll tell you, as the senior reservist at Luke Air Force Base, when I run the active duty legal office, I work with the FBI, I work with the Department of Justice, I've worked with the IRS and the Department of Justice prosecuting airmen for COVID relief fraud. I've worked with the 32 jurisdictions and their chiefs of police and their prosecutors and the Maricopa County attorney working on investigations. And here's how you know that Chris Mays is asleep at the wheel, Russ. There are only fentanyl deaths across the United States are down, except for 2 states, New Mexico and Arizona. And there's only 1 state in our great nation where fentanyl deaths are up by over 20%. Guess where that is?
Don't tell me.
Arizona. So while Chris Mays is filing lawsuits against President Trump, indicting his allies, sending out press releases so that she can raise money, suing farmers because she doesn't like what they do with their water, suing landlords because she doesn't like how they charge their tenants rent, suing to keep biological boys and girls sports, suing the hefty garbage bag company because she doesn't like
Yeah.
The way they design. Yeah, she's suing the Hefty Garbage Bag Company because she doesn't like the way they design their boxes. While Chris Mays is doing that, our young people are dying of fentanyl deaths because she refuses to allow police officers who pull someone over with probable cause to ask whether they're here legally.
All right, you convinced me. I don't like Chris Mays now.
And if you don't like Chris Mays,
so what, in your opinion,
the guy that can beat her.
So what in your opinion do you think it's going to take to end this corruption here in Arizona?
It's going to take having an attorney general, the chief law enforcement officer that knows how to do the job. And the reason I say knows how to do the job is because think about this. We had a great Republican governor during COVID. And we had a great Republican attorney general during COVID. But our Republican attorney general during COVID had never made a career as a private sector attorney. And so when the governor shut down the gyms and shut down the churches and shut down the restaurants, when the Republican governor shut down the gyms, the churches, and the restaurants, who was the only statewide elected official that could have said, no, you can't do that? The attorney general.
Really?
But that would have required an attorney general that worked in the private sector that knew that his client was the citizen, the business community.
So what would be the first thing you would actually go after?
The first thing I will do on day one as attorney general, I will withdraw Arizona from the 42 lawfare lawsuits that Chris Mays has filed against the Trump administration. I will also rescind the political indictments that Chris Mays has made against good Republicans across the country. Simply for supporting President Trump. Did you know that Chris Mays, remember we were talking about those 60 gun-carrying, badge-carrying investigators that the Attorney General can use to root out waste, fraud, and abuse and go after unlicensed contractors? And when I was down in Yuma, your sheriff, Leon Wilmot, he said, can you help protect our seniors? Because there are a ton of consumer fraud schemes against seniors. And I said, yes, Sheriff, I'll be able to send my investigators to come work with you and the sheriff's department to get the message out, to investigate, to prosecute. This is what's interesting. Chris Mays is taking our Arizona investigators, and you know what she does with them? She sends them to West Palm Beach, Florida, to harass the 85-year-old Mayor Rudy Giuliani. That is, you know that Rudy Giuliani, the old mayor of New York, is currently under indictment by the state of Arizona over the 2020 election because Chris Mays thinks that's a good priority for our citizens.
Wow.
And so on day one, I'll withdraw the lawsuits, I'll rescind the political indictments, and then I'll spend the next 100 days protecting Arizonans from the legislature. Because think about this, in the middle of the night, when Warren Peterson was shoving through that House concurrent resolution that will now risk the lives of our police and firefighters who won't be able to negotiate for their families, which statewide elected official should have had a lawyer sitting there before they voted to actually read the bills on behalf of the citizens and say, hey, this is really, really bad, and write a non-binding legal opinion that said it wasn't going to accomplish what they thought it was going to accomplish. The attorney general. And so my job as attorney general, because I don't work for the legislature, and I don't work for the governor, I work for you, Russ, the people. My job will be to protect us from the legislature and the unintended consequences of 90 well-meaning people writing 4,000 bills to make our lives better.
In other words, you can't be bought.
Cannot be bought.
That's right.
And my only client is you, the people. I'm running to protect our cops, our kids, and our prosperity. And I say that selfishly because I work in the private sector as an attorney. I am a lieutenant colonel out at Luke Air Force Base. I am married to my law school sweetheart, Sasha, who I met at the University of Arizona almost 20 years ago. I do have 2 teenage daughters that are 15 and 13. We're a school choice family. So when I talk about these things on the campaign trail, they're not just platitudes. I'm not just a 14-year state legislator and a part-time realtor who got my law license 28 months ago. I'm a God-fearing, tax-paying, military-serving citizen who wants this job so that I can protect my cops, my kids, my prosperity, just like yours.
Rodney, I appreciate the call, man. I got to run. Go harass somebody else.
I appreciate it, Russ. Don't
Take
forget, vote Rodney Glassman in this Republican primary.
All
Thanks a ton.
Take care, man.
Take care.
Right. Take care.
That was Rodney Glassman. You know, he's quite the presenter. You know, he's a lawyer you'd want to hire because he won't shut up. Right?
All right.
You
We
want that
agree
guy.
with you.
You want that
Just-
guy. Just like reminds me of John Minori. Remember John?
No.
He was my lawyer here locally before he
Wait,
had that heart
no.
attack.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, I never
He
met
was
him.
he was
personally.
ruthless and relentless.
Well, sounds like you better hire this guy next.
Ruthless and relentless.
That's what you want. That's what
Yeah.
you want. You're a
Oh.
lawyer.
Yeah, it's funny to see him going to court too. When John Minori would go into court and people look up and see him walk in and go, "Oh no, we gotta put up with this guy." You know, that's exactly right. Let me see. Did I get this whole thing covered on
I think you did. You were on the back page.
Khomeini's
and
body
it's not
and
left
all
on
that
the
kind of
back
stuff?
page,
Got him slammed up. I'm expecting trouble when Khomeini is. I mean, it's a violent country. They're at war.
Yeah.
They got civil war startup,
Yeah.
kind of, maybe. I don't know. But maybe they won't because it's, religious leader. I don't know.
Well, with that many,
I don't want to
people,
go.
Even when in a country of stability, with that many people getting together, there's going to be some problems. But
And we have problems in this
it would
country
be a
now.
nice
No.
opportunity for people to rise up. So,
How many times do they try to go after Trump now?
hey, while you're looking for something,
Yeah.
did you hear about Carvel, that Democrat, the bald, angry Democrat guy with the squinty eyes? Always looks like he's looking into the sun.
What did he do?
Him and John Fetterman.
Yeah.
He's like the best Democrat out there.
He's a great guy.
They both came out really upset and concerned about the Democrat Socialist movement
Yeah.
and how it's going to destroy the country,
As they should be.
as they should be. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're again, they're showing a little bit. There is a little bit of rationality within the Democratic Party. They're getting shut down and shouted over, but I hope they get more airplay and
Well,
more.
Two's a lot, but they kind of write off Fetterman, but it's getting airplay, and it's
Yeah.
getting airplay from some of the liberal,
Right.
media and some of the liberal comedians and stuff. They're starting to do some of that, so they're starting to see a little breaking.
Yeah. Well, when things get bad, then you look at who made it bad,
Right.
and so as things get worse and worse in these Democrat places,
They're going to separate themselves from the
Yeah.
Democrat socialists, but they kind of support them.
well, Fetterman referred to them as a huge night for the dirtbag left.
Yes, he did.
He did not
I
like
I
that
remember
at
that.
all.
But
I like these guys.
his picks got done. I mean, he won. I mean, the people he supported and picked as socialists to win, 3 of them won.
Mamdani.
Mondani,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is really causing a concern for the Democrats.
Well,
But they've got to show unity. So now they're out there saying, "Well, we're a big tent."
Well, even when Mamdani was in the campaign, I saw an interview with Chuck Schumer, and they asked him, "Are you going to be endorsing Mamdani?" Well, I've got a lot of things to look at. Mamdani at that point was the only one that could possibly win
Well,
the election for the Democrats. Well, there's a lot of things to consider. Well, he's really the only one left.
Right.
Are you going to endorse him? He's a Democrat. Well, I take things like that into consideration. He would not. He had just spent the interview talking about how we need a Democrat in mayor, New York mayor office.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. Mamdani's going to be the guy. Are you going to endorse him? Well, they're on a fine edge there
There's
we got to support the Democrats, but we don't want to bring in socialism. So, I'm hoping that shifts more towards some.
we will
some
see. I
national
think they've
thought.
got some trouble.
Oh, they do.
My
They
fact
definitely-
checker Edward doesn't think so.
Oh, really? What's he?
That,
thinking?
well, they're just going to unify over hating Trump for now.
Well, it's been failing for them for a while now. So
Yeah.
why not?
But look, nationally, they're losing registration in the
Yeah.
Democrat Party, and the Republicans are gaining registration. That
And
alone is not going to win an election, not until we own the voting machines. Right now, the Democrats own them.
And I personally know some Democrats that are only Democrats because they hate Trump.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about the policies or positions.
They
of
probably don't know anything
anybody.
about Trump. They just heard it.
They probably don't. But they see his personality, and I've talked before. Trump is a big personality. You either love him or you hate him.
Yeah.
There's very little middle ground when it comes to that. And so, if there's a uneducated public,
Do you think
they
Trump,
have nothing to base their thoughts on
Do you-
except, oh, I don't like that guy.
do you think Trump has an ego?
He has a huge.
Yeah.
I think it takes that to do the job.
It absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree.
Some
yeah.
may say he has too much, but I don't know what that
Yeah.
is. I don't know.
Well, yeah, the putting his name on everything and
Yeah,
things in
yeah,
gold.
yeah.
He's very over the top and very kind of a look at me kind of guy.
Yeah.
And
But he's also generous and magnanimous.
but yeah,
and-
it takes somebody that with that kind of drive. I want
Yeah.
people looking at me, so I'm going to do all these great things.
Well, you take.
I
a
don't
look
care
at
why
how
he's doing the
Donald
great
Trump-
things.
Take a look at how old Donald Trump is.
80.
And that man can go to 6, 7 states in one day
Right,
and say, "Where's the next one for me to go to?"
right.
I mean, he's just constantly
But-
on
but-
the go.
Biden could do the same thing. They just froze him in the back of the plane and
Well, yeah.
Stand him up on a stand.
have a bunny rabbit show him where the exit is.
Well, most people would be nappy nap time.
Hey, you remember the whole hullabaloo about Greenland, that Trump was going to buy
Yeah.
Greenland and all that? You haven't heard
Yeah.
much about it.
No, it hasn't come
Wow,
up.
that's gone silent.
Well, apparently he made some kind of a arrangement with NATO. The whole, well, not only the whole thing, but part of that push on Greenland was national security.
Right.
And
National security.
that's been an issue for a long time. A lot of people throughout the last couple decades have been saying, it would be really nice to have
Right.
control.
Well,
of
just the strategery of it,
Yeah.
its location and where it is, and if somebody from that side of the world is going to throw bad things at us, it's going to go over the pole.
Yeah.
Right.
And guess where's the pole is? It's right there in Greenland.
Yeah.
Or close.
Greenland.
It's close by. That's where you stop it. But apparently, NATO has promised Trump that they will secure the Arctic.
Okay.
And that was part of the, get off Greenland, we'll do that. So they've started that. Now, NATO, they simulated reconnaissance missions using 30,000 troops.
Right.
They were doing some drills to combat enemy to the east type stuff, Russia, Norway's Arctic neighbor and all that kind of stuff. But Russia has icebreaking fleets
Mhm.
that we don't have. We have, I think, one icebreaker or two. We have a couple of them, and the rest of our NATO allies aren't much better. They have a couple. We're making 6 of them right now. With I think Norway and us are getting together to make 6 of them, and Russia has like 30. Or
Russia can't move without them. So
yeah. Well, they're used to it, so they kept it up, and NATO didn't, and NATO's ignored it, and that was part of part of Trump's push
right.
for Greenland. And he got NATO to agree to go in and help with all this
Good.
in order to shut. I mean, I don't care whether we get Greenland or not. That wasn't a big deal for me.
Well,
But-
that's Trump's MO. Proposing these great big unpopular ideas, so that the people that don't like it will say, "All right, well, fine, we'll do this instead." And
Yeah.
okay, great,
Well,
let's go with that.
they called the whole operation Arctic Century, and it was there to show Washington and Europe and Canada that they can defend the northern flank, which I doubt. Now the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, which I guess is a friend of Trump, even though they're locking horns, but he's agreeing with Trump that
It's a risk.
the NATO partners don't put the money into defense like they promised and that they should. Europe is way behind.
Well, it's hard to argue numbers.
The numbers of
numbers of how much NATO is contributing to.
Well-
it's hard to argue that they're low.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because
And who knows what the real numbers are?
well, the NATO, if you're part of NATO, you're supposed to contribute like 3 or 4% to your national security,
Right.
military and stuff. These guys are doing 1s and 2s.
Right.
They said, well, we'll pump it up by 2030. What about like next year? Why
people hate us now.
why are we doing that?
What's
Uh,
your guys' thoughts on what Trump is doing with our military?
in aspects to what?
Yeah.
Right now, we deploying it to the Iran.
Oh, no, the way he's building it back up.
Oh, well, yeah, it's we already have a massive military. It's bigger than, the next few combined.
Right.
But that's how you stay safe. You
Yeah.
say, don't mess with me because I'm going to win. And there's, anytime you employ military, the government has to pay them, but
Right.
it's government paying money right back into the citizenship, which, flows through the economy. So
Right.
I'm okay with that too. People talk about all kinds of concerns with having a massive military, and I just don't see, grounds to be worried about it. So I'm okay with it. I have no problem.
You're okay with him pumping it up?
Yeah.
And he wants to put a lot more money into it, but a lot of that has to do with that golden dome,
Yep.
which I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not called the Golden Trump
Yeah.
Dome.
Well, there's no actual dome to put the name on. So,
Okay.
So
right.
that's
Well,
stop that.
Which I don't mind. I think it's just kind of funny when he says Golden Dome, because we know he likes gold, and Israel is an iron dome
Right.
because it's supposed to be tough. Whereas
Yeah.
ours is going to be pretty.
Well, yeah. To be honest, if I'm going to be protected by a dome, I'd rather have an iron dome than a golden dome because gold's rather soft.
Yeah, but they put a lot of money into it.
Mhm.
I like the idea. It's kind of like the Star Wars thing from Reagan.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't know if we have the biggest military in troop numbers.
Oh, yeah.
I actually heard China
No,
does.
China has the world's largest
Yeah.
active duty military with
Right.
2 million personnel.
Yeah.
India 1.4 million. United States 1.3. So we're third on that. We're
Okay,
number one
of
in
troops.
power.
Yeah.
Yep.
And power.
In technology.
But yeah, I think that's related to it. I think China has more ships,
Yeah.
naval, but ours are much more
Advanced.
sophisticated.
And what's interesting is China has that massive military, but they don't fight militarily.
Right.
They're fighting. They're shifting their interactions to digital.
Yeah.
They're fighting digitally with people.
Well,
And you don't hear about their troops being sent anywhere. This
Right.
that it's all just they're messing with us economically
Yeah.
and
And
structure.
I think a lot of people actually underestimate China as well.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think those days are
Well,
over. They know. United States does
can
have
an impact.
the largest by tonnage,
Yeah.
because you look at an aircraft carrier's tonnage. I
It's
guess
heavy.
that
Yeah.
equates to 10 other ships. I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it. By tonnage, it has the largest.
Wow.
I guess that was an interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
Aircraft carriers, we have more than half the world's aircraft carriers.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody can build them.
No.
Well, build them well. They do build them. China just had one built that's supposed to be a super carrier, but who knows what the technology is in there. And Russia has one aircraft carrier. It's been in dry dock for 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't understand how
Yeah.
people still consider Russia a threat to anybody.
Well,
Yeah.
they've still got a lot of stuff that could hurt you.
During the Cold War, we know that they had fake missiles that they were parading all over the place to
Right.
try to scare people.
Yeah.
They can't finish off tiny little Ukraine. And they have one aircraft carrier in dry
Yeah.
dock for a decade. It's just
Yeah, but they used to have the most tanks in the world.
right.
A lot of them are now
They were
scrap metal.
Yeah, because they were terrible and not well maintained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't last long.
It's just a perfect example of communism does not work. They fail on every measure.
Something that's not working is the F-35 program, according to some. Now, you keep hearing it put up there how capable the F-35 is, how well it's done in Iran, and all true. But the amount of F-35s that are mission capable, percentage-wise, is dismal.
Oh, really?
A lot of them sitting waiting on parts.
Oh,
So, and on a newer, I say new, it's not new anymore, it's newer. There's a lot of changes, and they have to change them all, and they can't get the parts to do it. But let's take a phone call. You're on the air, Sandy. Good morning.
Good morning. I don't know if you caught President Trump's speech at the Presidential Library in North Dakota
No.
for Teddy Roosevelt yesterday.
I
President
No, I
Teddy
didn't.
Roosevelt.
I didn't. I see him
Well,
take off in the airplane
Yeah.
to go there, but yeah.
he highlighted a number of things, and I think our problem in our country is we kind of poo-pah success and think that that's a bad thing. But here's
Mhm.
just a few things that Trump mentioned. Apparently, Roosevelt had severe asthma, and the doctor, when he was young, the doctor said he needed to live a quiet life. But Roosevelt instead went on a hike to the Matterhorn and sailed the Atlantic.
Mhm.
And he lived, he actually got his health back, and he was responsible for building the Panama Canal.
Right.
Now, I didn't remember that. I don't know if you guys know that or not, which is quite a feat when you think about it.
Well,
Right.
He and his son both received the Medal of Honor, and Trump took the Medal of Honor that was in the Roosevelt Room at the White House and presented it to this presidential library.
Oh, that's cool.
Trump emphasized this was Roosevelt's view. Roosevelt's view was that grand and righteous ambition is an American virtue rather than a vice.
Yeah.
And that's the way we should all be looking at it.
right.
And instead, we have people in the country, and I still think it's envy and jealousy, which I believe are mentioned in the Bible,
Mhm.
that screws up some of these people's minds. Another thing is Roosevelt, like President Trump, and Trump embraces ambition too.
Yeah.
That both Trump and Roosevelt value freedom. And this was a quote from Roosevelt. Freedom is not a gift that lasts long in the hands of cowards.
Mhm.
And if you think about that, how true it is.
Yeah.
It's a great way
Because
to
if
put it.
you're a coward, you're going to submit
Right.
to people taking over and telling you what to do. And a lot of these people that are following the socialist communist ideas, they just want the government to do everything for them and tell them what to do because they're cowards.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it anyway. So I've got to hear some of your talk, and I've appreciated it. I didn't get to hear everything because other stuff going on, but
No.
I don't know what you think about that. And
And the more I hear from Trump, the more I like him.
Mhm.
And the more, comparisons to great men in this country, the more
Right.
you realize what a treasure we have.
correct. And I agree with that too.
Yeah.
I don't know how to change some of these people's minds where they look at what someone says and they judge it as, oh, you're bragging. Well, heck,
Yeah.
go ahead and brag, man.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
Well,
You don't have to be quiet and submit to that. You need to have ambition. You need to be a leader. And that's what President Trump is.
Well,
and that's what
Well,
Teddy Roosevelt was.
real leaders, if you think about it, real leaders, in the midst of all the criticism and the hate that Trump has received, he keeps pushing forward and fighting for the American people. You gotta hand it to the man.
Mhm.
For what
And
he's been.
Sandy-
And he talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
He says when you love a job, and he loves his job. He loves doing what's best for our country.
Absolutely.
He loves it. He embraces it.
Yeah.
That he's able to ignore all the criticism from people. He'll if somebody's doing a lot of criticizing of him, he's going to fight back.
Yeah.
But that's the way he should do. Because then they say, oh, that's just the way he is. But no, he's going to fight back for his family's name.
Yeah.
And I was struck yesterday that both Roosevelt and Trump are from New York. I hadn't thought about that in a
Well, that's
while
right.
either.
There you go.
As far
And
I just want to tell you, as far as him, people say he brags about it, he talks about his own accomplishments. I had a boss from Tennessee once that used to have all these colloquialisms, and one of them, when that subject came up, he would say, "Russ, it's a sad dog that can't wag his own tail."
Mm.
I need to write that down. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've been one that was very quiet about what I do, but that's my personality. Actually, when I was very young, I know this would surprise you, Russ, but I was very quiet.
No, it doesn't.
Really?
My teachers, when I went back and I taught with some of them, were like, "What happened to you?" Anyway, I became more talkative as I got older, but I'm still kind of a quiet person.
I don't.
I know
label
it
you.
may not sound like it, but I'm trying to help. That's all I'm trying to do.
And I appreciate
And
it.
if we can persuade some of these people to understand that they're looking at things wrong when they're saying, "Oh, I'm going to vote for this Democrat because I hate Trump," and this Democrat wants to open the border, open the prisons, and that's what these guys are saying right now. They hate Jews. They want to take your money away. They hate anybody having wealth except for them.
Yeah.
And if you think that way, that you're going to be disturbed by a man you don't even know. You don't know his qualities. You don't know anything about him except what the media has preached to you, and you haven't figured out that most of everything they say are lies.
Yeah.
You know, just like I don't understand why people quote what Iran says. Because behind the scenes, Iran's talking to our guys. Our guys tell us what Iran says behind the scenes. And then our media, "Oh, but Iran said this." Well, of course, they're just lying.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll go back to listening to you guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Take care.
care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
As Miss Sandy, the social hermit she is.
Yeah, and I like the distinction between ambition and righteous ambition.
Right.
You know, you got ambitious people; they're just trying to build themselves up, get their own self-aggrandizement. You know, their wealth, or hey, look at me. And I just got done saying Trump is a hey, look at me kind of guy, but he's hey, look at me and all the good things I'm doing for you. Having ambition to do things that are better for the people around you is good ambition. Now, if you get attention along the way, okay, but and that's what makes it hard. Because I was raised, you got to be humble and you don't preach yourself and things like that. Well, it's hard to run a campaign if you're not talking about yourself and your qualification. But that's the key, is you're talking about your qualifications. You're not saying, "Oh, I'm a great guy, amazing." Just like when Glassman called in, he was talking about his qualifications. He wasn't saying, "I'm an amazing guy." Right. He was saying, he was listing his qualifications and letting you decide, is that an amazing guy or not? And so, that's the difference. Is
He was wagging his own tail.
He was, but for a good reason. For a good reason.
That's
Trump wags his own tail for a good reason, and then it might go a little bit more waggy to say, "Hey, I like the attention too," but he's still doing what he can for the people around him.
If a dog wagged his tail that much, it'd be airborne.
Well, Trump did fly that plane from Cater, so Cutter.
Hey, on the F-35 program, get back to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They face significant logistic challenges, and it's affecting its operational effectiveness, which of course makes the Senate want to get involved and ask them questions like, "Well, what the hell?
Right.
Why are we letting so many stay grounded or, not operationally ready?"
And when they start new programs like, the F-35 program, they would have had conditions set up for the logistics. How are we going to get the parts? Where are they going to come from? How often are they going to be produced?
They do. And obviously inefficiently. It's just not doing it. So. And they asked General Gregory L. Maceo, he in charge of that program. And he says that the growth has outpaced sustainability for the joint fighters. That is a damning thing to say.
Right.
That we got this high-tech, newest plane, and we're still going to build them for the next 10 years. And the growth has already outpaced the sustainability, and it's way behind schedule. I mean, we were supposed to have many more of them by now, and they can't keep them flying. And I think it's decisions made with the supply industry, spare parts, and all that kind of stuff.
It's easy for people to overlook the importance of logistics. You see this big, amazing plane.
But we're good at it.
Look at that. Right. But then you forget the logistics. What's the line? A military moves on its belly. You got to keep them fed. You got to keep the wheels turning. Otherwise, no matter how effective your military is, it's stuck.
I really believe they're going to take care of it now. It's gotten so much
yeah.
national attention.
Yeah.
And they found out that less than half of them are mission capable.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got that much money in these aircraft, and they're phenomenal. I guess
They are.
they've done a great
They're
job,
amazing.
and they work well. It's not like we built a terrible aircraft,
Right.
but
Which is good. And
they need to keep them in the air.
that's what happens. Something goes wrong, we take notice of it and we fix it.
Apparently, a lot of them are grounded right now due to a software issue, and they're waiting on a software update. It just seems like silly. Why would you have 100 planes with software update data and you're not getting it done?
What's this where several of the planes they have formed cracks in them? Have you heard about that?
On the F-35s? I mean, it's not uncommon for an aircraft somewhere down the line to find out that we're starting to have a problem with cracks, and that happened on the C5s.
Well, a bunch of them just recently got grounded. I don't know if it was here in America or where, but
they do that out of caution. I mean, if they find an airplane that has developed cracks, they want to look at all of them.
They'll look at all of them.
They want to see all that. And they ended up putting new wing parts in the FC5s. I think they had to redo some stuff with the Warthogs, over time.
Right.
They find out that, this wasn't as beefy as we thought it should be or something. But,
yeah, it's not enough that they just make the thing.
But hopefully
they're
they've
constantly updating it and improving it.
Well, that's been something with the F-35 that, and I was talking to some of the people at the airbase about it, that some of the F-35s, when they're making.
I'm listening.
You like that one?
My dad was an Army chaplain.
Oh, okay. Why they're making the F-35s, manufacturing them on the assembly line. Right. They're also testing them in Yuma.
Yeah.
They're certifying them and stuff, and they go through and they say, well, this part needs to be beefed up or this part needs to be changed. Right. So they make that change, but they don't stop the assembly lines. The assembly lines are still going with the parts they have that need to be changed later.
Oh.
Right.
And so a lot of the planes can get delivered, and before they go active, they change the part that they just put in, during assembly.
Right.
And I don't disagree with that decision, because if you shut down the assembly line every time a change comes up, I don't think that thing would run. Wouldn't run. But there's a lot of wrenching on these high performance aircraft. There's just a lot of wrenching, and if they don't have the parts ready to go, then we're going to be in trouble. That one that you've got about removing the insignia,
right?
Rank insignia off the chaplains,
right?
I guess that's fairly new. The chaplains are all Army, so they're going to be, lieutenants, colonels, it doesn't matter, and all that. They're making them take all that insignia off. So
just on their combat uniform,
right?
Yeah,
not on their parade uniforms or whatever.
Right. Yeah, my dad was enlisted Marine during Vietnam, and then a pastor, and then he went back to the military as an Army chaplain. And I remember his uniform and how he wore it, and he would have the chaplain insignia on his cover on his hat, and then his rank on his shoulders for all of his uniforms. But now they're saying on the winter uniform and the combat uniform, it'll just be the chaplain signature.
Yeah, and you don't have a rank.
And then, but on the other uniforms, he'd still have his rank.
And I think
I'm okay with
the military's been going through so many changes. I mean, they took all the guys out that thought they were girls.
Mm-hmm.
They said all the fat generals got to get in shape. It's just crazy. But they're not slowing down. But even these chaplains, I don't know why that became a problem.
Well, it says in there, Hegseth is focusing their role to
as a religious
leader, not so much a military leader. And my dad, he was, like I said, he was in Vietnam. So he was part of the hierarchy. He understood rank, he understood authority. And as a chaplain, he was phenomenal. He led people. He would be one of the only Army chaplains that would go out into the field with the troops and service them there. And they respected him for that. Even without his rank, he got a pretty high rank by the time he retired. But even without that, people recognize a good leader and they followed him.
And do you guys feel Hegseth is a good leader?
I like him.
I with his credentials seemed a little lacking when they picked him, but I think he's doing a good job. I think he's identifying his key points of interest and focusing on getting things done as far as those are concerned. And he's supporting Trump's efforts
Right.
Like you said, how is Trump using the military? I think the two of them are doing a good job.
I think his credentials are just as good as Trump's, who had lacked credentials
Right.
as a political leader.
Yeah.
But
True. Yeah.
yeah, pretty strong.
I personally think he's growing into the job quite well.
Yeah, he made a couple of stumbles at the beginning, but
Yeah.
I think he's much more effective now.
Don't
than
we
he
all
was.
with the new job?
Yeah.
Well, and that was something somebody should have caught for him. I mean, I guess some communication stuff where they were using a
Signal.
Signal, and some New York Times guy was in there or something. Was in on the late whatever.
Oops.
And of course, the left fire him off with their heads. Of course, that's very political and not common sense.
Right.
Yeah. I know. Don't do that.
Yeah. I don't know any chaplain that would be upset about this, because even in when you're in combat, officers don't wear the shiny insignia.
Right.
Because the reflection turns them into a target.
Right.
It's very subdued. You minimize the
it's fabric at
attention
that point sewn in.
Yeah. So you don't focus so much on the rank insignia anyway when you're in combat. You know who your leader is. And you follow them. Because any kind of display becomes a target. So if a chaplain has a rank insignia on a combat uniform, they might be mistaken as a target. So if it's just chaplaincy insignia, then it's better for them.
Hegseth said that the first and foremost a chaplain and then an officer second.
Yes.
He also eliminated the Army Spiritual Fitness Guide, which I thought was interesting. He said, "Do away with it." I said, "Well, what is it?" I went. I had to look at it now. It hasn't been out all that long. It was released August of 25. And they stopped using it once they started reading, but it kind of supported all the DEI programs and the spirit, and it was called spiritual fitness. It's kind of a Biden type era spirituality of we pray to the DEI gods.
Yeah. So and a few months ago, they pared down the list of recognized faiths to like 30. They were just over the top, like 100 or 200 or something like that. It was crazy. But just anybody that came along with some, I'm not going to say crazy idea, because you got your religions, but very few people might be part of this idea, faith. It might be a month old, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm a religion. I need my attention over here." You can go you can go crazy with that, and so they've pared that down. They said you got to be part of this group or that group, and you might be a child of that group, you may not be the head of that group.
Well, the faith insignias that they permit is the Latin cross, the Jewish tablets with Star David superimposed, the Muslim crescent, the Buddhist wheel of righteousness, which I don't know what that is, and then we get down to the Hindu Om. Well, is there a Hindu guy out there? I mean, and they got to find how many Hindus do we have in the military?
There's
quite a few.
Yeah.
In the military, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the wheel of righteousness looks like.
I don't recognize that one. I know the Hindu Om. But...
Getting back to that manual, I forgot to mention on the religious. The manual. Eliminate the Army Spiritual Guide. Spiritual Guide. It was released in August of 25, but it was really scrapped in December of the same year. Like once they started reading it, but it was officially Hegseth finally officially said, "It's out of here. You got just scrap the whole." I'm sorry we printed it.
Oops.
Hey Russ, if you don't mind, I'm going to promote a little bit for
you got 2 minutes
for Q Broadcast real quick.
Go ahead.
So. For those of you guys that don't know what Q Broadcast is, that's what Russ is also broadcasting on today on Channel 24. And Q Broadcast for $69.99 a month. You get all your HBO, Showtime, Cinemax Stars, Encore, pay-per-views. You get all your sports networks. So if you guys are football fans, you get every last football game on a Sunday.
Like an NFL package.
It's better than the NFL package.
I know a lot of people that pay more than that because they buy Netflix, they buy all the other stuff, Disney Channel.
So at the end of the broadcast, I'll go ahead and in the comments section post the Q Broadcast link. If you guys want to check it out, it's a Patriot-owned company. They don't do any contracts at all. It's just month to month.
Month to month, and so you don't sign any long
You
term.
don't have to
You
sign.
sign up
anything.
and you say tomorrow I changed my mind. You
You
unplug.
You cancel and you're out of it.
Yeah, then you're not in the family.
There you go.
Thanks for coming in. I'll be back tomorrow. This is Mortgage One Studios, Russ Cark.